block off rooms. We'd bring fucking PVC pipe, build like use visqueen to make like
Oh yeah.
to make like fucking clean areas. Like worst case scenario, if we're gonna do it outside, I'll bring fucking. I got like 1,800 yards of visqueen. That's like and like a couple of fucking PVC pipes that we drill into and just we'd build a fucking box
Where do you
outside
keep all that?
in my basement. Listen, dude, I've got like fucking 40 fans, like 10 like industrial dehumidifiers in my garage. Like my garage looks like it's a fucking professional business that you run out of. Got fucking racks just filled with air movers, air scrubbers. Got oh dude, all sorts of wild shit that people like. Like so, if your house ever like I'm like we've had our basement flood like 6 times and it's 1 in the morning. My dad wakes me up. He's like, "Hey, sucking water out of the basement. I need you to grab fans and dehus." I'm like, "All right, fuck, it's done by
Here we
done
go
by
again.
2 a.m." And everyone's like, "Oh, the whole neighborhood's flooded." And not our house.
Our house flooded many times.
Yeah, that shit
when we were
sucks.
kids. It actually happened to be the same sink in my parents' master bathroom. The same part on the same sink failed not once but twice in like a 10-year period. I'm like, there's no way the insurance adjuster's gonna come back and be like, "Oh yeah, totally."
Makes sense.
That happens all the time.
That's legit.
Yeah, that's great. Anyways, welcome to the show. Welcome back, Mr. Cowboy. New guest, I'll let you introduce yourself so we know what to call you and we don't give away any information we shouldn't.
I don't care. You can use my legal name.
Well, you can say it first.
Yeah, Xander, Willie P, fucking Jimmy. I don't know. I've gone by a couple of names.
I like
could
Slick
roll with
Jimmy.
Back in the day when I worked at 511, one of my coworkers came in one day and like I don't even know how the fuck it started. But she's like Jimmy, like as loud as fuck as she could across the store. And ever since, like that name just somehow stuck. I'm like, awesome. Like, sure, we'll go by Jimmy. Fuck it.
That's good. You and I work at the same place. Not to give away too much information, but no one's used real names, so
No.
I think we'll get away with it. Or I'll just bleep that out as a HIPAA violation. But anyways, you were a part of the CQB League that wrapped up last week, and afterwards we had a bunch of fellas here just gathered around the table drinking until the early dawn.
Yeah.
And we got into, I forgot how we went down the Wuhan flu rabbit hole. You told an absolutely batshit crazy story
Oh my god.
about Planned Parenthood and how they were like literally just faking vax cards. And I don't know if you want to disclose that story, and we can bleep out however much we have to because it's all HIPAA related. But like,
don't bleep out anything.
I have never heard. I've never heard this ever. Out of all the crazy stories, people faking vax cards, people not logging them in the system entirely, I've never heard this, and this was just crazy.
To be fair, I don't know if it was technically fake. It was just a bold-faced, absurd lie on my end that the super hot, I'm assuming Filipino nurse that was covered in tattoos just happened to believe me, and like she just took my word as like I'm a trustworthy dude, like seemed like an honest guy. She's like, you know what, fuck it, I trust you, but I think we got on the topic because I had to go to Planned Parenthood to get an STD check.
Yeah.
Because
And then strike two, of course, like the people working at Planned Parenthood are hot. Like you're not supposed to like them. You're not supposed to like see them as human, but like of course they're hot and tatted.
Yeah,
and she was most likely.
Oh my god, she was 100% pure Filipino, like maybe 5'1", like on her best day she was 5'1" in her nurse shoes, which just made it that much better. But
you want what you can't have the most.
Yeah, the whole vax card thing. I don't even know. Well, I obviously it was fake, but like the whole fact that like she just took my word for it. First question, like when I went in, it obviously peak COVID. She's like, "Hey, like obviously you're in for an STD check. Like, gotta wear your mask." I was like, "Okay." Immediately took it off. She's like, "I don't care. I'm cool with you not wearing it." And I'm like, "Perfect."
I can tell you're cool. You have tattoos.
And that's pretty much what I was thinking mentally. I'm like, "Okay, you're hot, tattooed, and you don't care I wear a mask." I'm like, "Maybe I'll leave my girlfriend and marry you." That could be a thing. But
we need a fourth.
True. I'll get down with a quadruple. Sign me up. Fuck. But she's like, I gotta ask the basic questions. Like question 3 on the chart was, "Are you vaccinated?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Wait, hold on. What do you mean am I vaccinated?" She's like, "Did you get your COVID shot?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, but I don't have my card with me. I lost it. Like I'm like, I think the dates were the 19th and like the 27th of July." about the time the vax came out and like things started to die down with people like, oh, concerned. Never actually got vaccinated. She immediately was like, oh, well, I can get you a new card. Grabs one, scans it in the system, puts the dates in my file that I'm like now officially, according to record, vaccinated. Gives me the card, and then she's like, oh, you're up to date on your boosters, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, absolutely. She's like, do you know when you got them? I'm like, first one was October 24th ish. Second one was November 26th ish, around my birthday. She's like, oh, you get your third one yet? I'm like, at the time it was like get it every month. I'm like, oh, I'm still a couple of days out. It was like the week before Christmas.
No, I doubled down.
And I'm like, but I'll be here on the 27th, 2 days after Christmas, to get my fucking third booster. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Immediately writes it on the card. She's like, when you come back in, it's already in the system for like post dated for December 27th. It'll automatically populate on your chart. Just let them know that it's already on your card and they don't have to fill it out. And I'm like,
If you say so.
I'm like, oh, absolutely. And I'm like, will you be working that day? Just to kind of gauge to see if I'm actually gonna have to go in there and figure out how to bullshit my way out of it, or if I'm gonna have to go to a different Planned Parenthood. Because in Spokane, where I grew up, or part of where I grew up, there's like 9 Planned Parenthoods, and this city is literally 220,000 people, and it's like 20 miles by 20 miles. So no reason that there should be that many Planned Parenthoods.
Planned Parenthood's like fucking up McDonald's at that point, I feel like.
Yeah, it really was. Like,
That's crazy.
it was insane. Look, there were more Planned Parenthoods in that city than there are McDonald's. And they coincidentally are all within a block of a McDonald's. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how it works like that.
Something tells me there's a huge correlation between the
I'm
McDonald's
gonna
regulars and the Planned Parenthood regulars in Spokane.
I'm gonna wild guess and say that you're probably not wrong. And there are definitely some choice opportunities happening. They're like, hey, like actually one of my girl's friends, totally
Hey,
off
if the
topic.
McDouble's no longer a buck,
True.
what can I do?
Girl's friend, she's like, oh, lived in Idaho, was from California, like super fucking liberal girl, like side of the head shaved, like orange fucking mohawk,
fuck.
spiked hair, like
Jeez.
stereotypical super far left liberal girl. And she's like, "Oh, I just went to fucking got her." She's like, "This is my 6th abortion."
What?
Yeah, her 6th abortion.
Just collecting all the Infinity Stones.
I'm in my mid-20s. She is a year and a half younger than us. So at this point, she was like just freshly 22. And I'm like, I stopped and looked at her. I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, sorry, I think I misheard you. What'd you say? She's like, oh no, I just got an abortion at Planned Parenthood like 3 days ago. It was my 6th, and I'm like,
the way we collect
I'm
like
like, you're
morale
6th?
patches, she's like going to each Planned Parenthood getting
Fucking
like
hell.
stickers.
That's what I'm saying.
I noticed like I killed a baby.
I
It's
fucking
just all over like the headliner of her car. She's got all the patches from each Planned Parenthood
her
in the
fucking
state.
Kia Soul. Oh my god, her silver Kia Soul. Yeah, I'm like so.
Oh, Kia Soul classic.
And she's like, I'm not on birth control. I'll never get on birth control, but I really just like to get. And I'm like,
Damn.
I'm like, so
Get your tubes tied.
that's what I'm like. That's my suggestion. She's like, oh, I can't until I'm fucking, whatever, 30, or you've got 3 kids. She's like, but I want kids, and I'm like, so I'm like,
That makes a lot of sense.
thought maybe don't kill the babies that you continually get pregnant with. Like,
I can throw a hand mixer up there and blend everything up, but I can't get my tubes tied. That's pretty crazy.
100%. Like, that's okay. Planned Parenthood's fucking wild, especially in Washington. Like,
I mean, they were. I guess they just.
when Idaho did the whole abortion ban, when that all started, like, people were like, Planned Parenthood literally had, like, the party buses at work.
Yeah.
They had those. They were shuttling people back
Like
and
the
forth.
Red Cross, like blood drive buses, but just like abortions.
Literally, it just
That's
they had Planned Parenthood fucking on the side of it, and like they paid for hotels for 24 to 48 hours depending on the procedure. Like the wildest shit. And this girl was telling me this because she had 3 abortions within like 6 months in Washington after that happened. Like just gnarly shit. And she's like, my girlfriend's like, oh, you can stay with us afterwards, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, no, she cannot. Like, not cool with it. She can't stay with us. Like,
I was like, you heard her
Yeah.
talk and was like, oh yeah, that I
That's
identify
cool.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
come chat.
no,
come
that
on.
was red flag number 7 in the relationship. But I'm like, listen, she's hot. I'm gonna let it slide. Probably shouldn't have let it slide, but you've seen her. Both of them were. Yeah.
I do feel like abortions have to be like smoking 1,000 cartons of cigarettes. Like, cigarettes age people. I feel like after a couple abortions, you're like, Ooh. Like
Yeah.
you're like 22, but look like you're 50.
I've got a worse story abortion-wise that I'll tell after this through well,
That's
it's
okay. We'll
it
skip over
yeah,
that.
it's a cousin
HIPAA.
that's technically not a cousin, my brother and sister,
Wow,
'cause
that
they're
already
uncle.
crossed so many lines.
It's my
HIPAA.
brother and sister's biological uncle. They've got a different dad, so it's his brother. So
That's so much math, dude.
I
That's so
I
many hoops to jump through
I
already.
need a
I always
color coding for this
Draw
diagram.
me a smart board.
I always grew up with it like being my uncle, so I'm like, fuck it, it's just my uncle. Those are my cousins, but like
Yeah.
no actual blood relation. But
Oh, okay.
so like growing up, they've always been my cousins.
Yeah.
She had like 9 within like 5 months because she wanted the perfect baby, and she's like, yeah,
What?
I ate meat and I wanted to be vegan. And she's like, I smoked a joint and I wanted to be sober. And then she's like, I had a beer and like like maybe you just close your legs for a couple of
Pause,
weeks,
what?
stop, and then like not just keep killing kids.
Trust me, it's not that hard.
It's really not.
It's
I
really
just
not.
open my mouth and it doesn't happen.
I just breathe oxygen and
Someone comes up to me and says,
That's
"Hey," and
that.
I said, just something absolutely retarded. Actually, I won't lie. When I first moved down here, I was just on a tear, going out to all the bars, checking places out.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole night vision star thing,
Yeah.
huge with the horoscope chicks. It turns out.
Oh, 100%. They love that shit.
Got one with them. They're like, "Yeah, we should do this. Absolutely, give me your number." Never spoke to her.
Nice.
The other one was actually like farmer's like daughter, and she was sick. We were talking about guns and stuff, and how she shoots at like the
Yeah.
farmland. And I was like, "Give me your number. We're gonna go shoot in the farmland." Never texted her either.
Nice. Way to
But
go, bud.
twice. Could have done something with it, but
Good for you. Good for you for having good, solid morals, unlike myself.
yeah. I was gonna say the line, but I won't say the line.
Go for it, man. I don't.
No,
HIPAA.
nothing wrong with the line. It's just off of a certain shirt that I won't repeat.
Yeah, but back to the whole story. Lady at Planned Parenthood, like just full sends on like, here's your new vax card. I'm like, do I need to do anything? She's like, nope, I trust you. Let's start with your process of getting your STD check. I'll make sure everything's on the up and ups in the system.
Send me here for an STD check. Let me forge your vax card real quick first to make sure everyone's safe.
Mind you, this is the second. Then I learned the fucking Planned Parenthood trick, and all I had to do was go talk to the Filipino girl with tattoos there, and she hooked it up. She was like, hey, like, I'm like, anything I need to do at all? Nope, like, you're good. It's all on the up and ups in the system. We'll let you know in the next 20 minutes if anything comes back on the immediate blood panel, and then like 5 to 7 days about HIV or AIDS or anything like that. I think hepatitis on the, on the STD panel that they had to send out that I had to pee in the cup for. But yeah, no, it was a very interesting, like, probably 45-minute experience. And I'm like, as I was walking out, the lady that sits at the front desk, she's like, "Oh, do you want to donate anything today?" And then immediately gets on my ass because I'm not wearing a mask. I'm like, "Your nurse said I was cool to not wear it first, and second of all, absolutely, I know I do not want to openly fucking support a company that is all about killing babies." It's like, we don't kill babies. I'm like, I look at her, I looked at the kind of the outside wall, and then I looked at her, and then I looked at the people around her, and I'm like, well, I got a friend that's had a couple abortions here, and I know for a fact y'all definitely unalive things in the
Right.
womb.
I've seen the resumes around out there, and also I know for a fact
They're
those like,
pretty
middle-aged
damn
white
proud of
church
it
ladies
sometimes.
aren't just protesting nothing out there.
They're coming here after 9 o'clock, like,
Yeah.
hey, I was a little unfaithful with the guys at the church. Husband doesn't need to know about it, but I'm gonna protest in the morning. But tonight, I need you to take care of some business for me, so the hubby don't find out when he gets back from town that I've been fucking around with guys at church. Had that incident too.
That's and like I'm not ever gonna really hit the streets and like what I might. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say never. I won't say never, but like I've never felt compelled to like hit the streets and like protest or riot or peacefully protest anything
Yeah.
rather. But like you see these individuals who are demonstrating in front of like Planned Parenthoods or just outside the doors, and they'll get like arrested and stuff for like impeding someone's right to whatever the fuck it's called, whatever law they invoke. At least what's happening like New York with the illegal immigrants, just curb stomping cops, stealing shit, and like they don't even need to pay bail.
No,
They
it's
just turn them right around and let them right out. I'm like, what?
They're like, oh, you
The fuck
don't
is happening here?
technically exist in this country. We can't do anything about it.
and a
Or
lot of
there's
times,
some. It wasn't. It was around Spokane actually. I think there was some pastor whose job it was to basically like pray outside of these, or not a job, but like whose mission, self-appointed mission, I guess, to stand outside one of these centers and just like pray.
It was outside of Planned Parenthood,
And
and
yeah,
that was a Planned Parenthood that was 5.5 miles from my apartment.
and like
So
this
I know
guy,
exactly what pasture
that's
you're talking about and
that's all
exactly what
he
Planned
did,
Parenthood.
and I guess he got like no knocked.
Yeah.
Like FBI rolled up,
They,
rifles and shit, pointing at his kids and his family, and pulled him out
yeah.
of his house in the middle of the fucking night. I was like, this is a fucking priest who's praying outside of a Planned Parenthood. Why the fuck are you kicking down his door with such a show of force? I was like,
They didn't. I don't even think. To be honest with you, if I remember correctly, they used a breaching charge on his door,
shut
and
up.
like no
No
shit,
fucking.
clean off, blew it, fucking like blew the door off, and went in like guns blazed,
Your
like
tax
shit.
dollars will kill babies, and you will like it.
100%.
You
And
can vote all you want; it does not matter.
it was like so there's a Facebook page called Spokane News. They like monitor the police channels and
Yeah.
post like everything that's happening like within 2 or 3 minutes of it happening. News channel, nothing on it. They were like, raid at local pastor's house, blah blah blah, breaching charges used, and then you see like because people on Facebook are nosy as shit, videos, pictures, fucking
Yeah.
like 3 hours later, all of a sudden the entire post is gone because of course, obviously, I'm gonna turn on post notifications. I want to see some cool shit and be like, all right, let's see what the breach looks like. Let's see what also shitty situation, but it looks cool as fuck. So
I want to see the body cam footage.
yeah, it's true. I don't know if that'll
I
ever
want to see the
get released.
Ring doorbell of these guys just stacking up and placing the charge.
I
And
challenge Ring to do, I don't know what you have to do to still have like a night vision capable camera, but
I
it
don't think it's
doesn't
super hard.
matter what it is. Looking at anything through a Ring doorbell camera at night is terrifying.
Oh yeah,
If you get the notification saying someone's at your door, and you look at it, it could be the most objectively innocent, peaceful thing, but through that black and white, like really not
fish eye.
definitive sort of, yeah,
Fisheye.
fisheye, you can't make out all the facial features. It's just not right, and it's just so unsettling. I'm like, dude, every time I see just like nighttime Ring doorbell footage, I'm like, ooh,
You're like, this is gonna be really sketchy,
yeah.
but it works. But yeah, no, it's like the whole Planned Parenthood situation there is very interesting because it's an extremely divided line. We live right on the border of North Idaho, but also you get the people that like flood in from California that don't want to spend the Seattle money, and the people that are like, fuck this, I don't want to move to Seattle because
Mm,
it's Seattle, so they're like, oh, the smaller, quiet, more peaceful town that we're just gonna fucking run through and destroy. Like, absolutely destroyed it.
classic.
Yeah, and like it sucked, and they pretty much just fucking ruined everything. Like traffic went from like you can get anywhere in the city within 15 minutes to 45 minutes to get to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is like 20 miles down the road.
Hmm.
Beautiful lake where all the celebrities hang out. Which fuck them, but at the same time, like
They'll have their bunkers, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For
but
the record, too, I have reiterated this, but we talked a lot about abortion. Like, my stance has always been like morally, I believe it's wrong. Don't like it. My tax dollars absolutely should not pay for it. That being said, I don't think any man, body of man, or document should really have any sort of say in what you are allowed to do to yourself. And you then have to pay or face the consequences for your actions in the afterlife, whatever religion, God. You have to deal with basically the consequences of your actions, but no person has dominion over that, of like your body. I feel like, so the fact that this has become the voting thing to fight over is kind of fucking ridiculous, and when it really should be so far completely removed from the equation, it's crazy.
I agree 100%. It's absolutely asinine that like this has become a political thing. Same thing, like morally, think it's like
Yeah, morally wrong.
superly
Yeah,
morally wrong. But like I feel like there's like the one or two off situations, like you have a stillborn, like shit like that, where you're like, okay, kid's already dead inside the womb, like don't put the mom through that. Or
it's different. Yeah, if some,
like there's the exception to the rule with everything, obviously, but for the most part, like the girl that I was referring to earlier, she just liked to go to the bar after she got dumped by her boyfriend for cheating.
the loyalty like punch card every
Yeah,
time she went in.
and literally she's just like, listen, I
After
like to get
12,
cream
you get
pie.
one free.
Yeah, she's like, I just like to get by fucking random dudes at the bar. I fucking almost guarantee that she had a punch card. It may not be from there, but it was from the coffee stand right next door.
Ugh,
Yep. Actually, I know for a fact it was from the coffee stand right next door because my girlfriend fucking picked her up one time. I was
damn.
not happy about that. She's like, well, she bought me coffee. She bought you coffee and lunch too. And I'm like,
I didn't ask
I
for
don't want that devil coffee.
If I wanted it, I would have asked.
Yeah,
for
I'm
it,
like,
yeah.
not as a religious person, but like, dude, I don't want that shit on me. Like, just in case there's something in the afterlife. Like,
You're
not
the
on my
devil.
conscience. I'm like, I'll hard pass on that. But yeah, dude, that whole situation was interesting. I'll find pictures of that girl and show her to you. 'Cause
Chicks are crazy.
she was not
Yeah.
cute. So like, I'm wondering how she got these guys home from the bar that she's just like, fuck it, go ahead.
They're dudes, dude. Dudes are dudes.
Yeah.
True. No, listen,
Dudes be
you
dudes.
think that, but she wear like these like, yeah, she did have huge tits with titty piercings, so I get that, but like,
What a mystery. How did she
Crazy
pull these guys?
how that works.
yeah, covered in tattoos, huge boobs, but she always fucking wore like tank tops.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what time. Had the listen.
I respect that.
She had longer armpit hair than I did.
I don't respect
I
that.
don't respect that at all.
You are subhuman now.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I'm a dude. Like, I trim my shit up. You're
Okay.
a full ass woman. Like,
Fuck, like, reaping the consequences for your actions in the afterlife. I'm shipping you to the cobalt mines in Africa. That's
yeah,
where you belong.
100%. I'm like, I'm like, I'm a fucking grown ass. I'm a hairy person. You've
Yeah.
got hairier legs than me and more armpit hair than me. That's a concern to me. Like,
That's not
if I'm out
empowering,
at a
that's just
bar
disgusting.
and a girl like that's like hitting on me, like, yeah, I want to take you home, or I want you to. Ash told me one time about getting out of the bathroom, so she's like, I want to take you in the bathroom.
Yo.
Like, I'm gonna hard pass as soon as I see that much leg hair, that much armpit hair, and that
You
little
could have Viking braids in your armpit. That's fucked
like
up.
that little hair on her head though was the big thing. Like, she had more armpit hair and leg hair than she had on her head. I'm like,
God.
She just rants about how she has to tell the world how pretty she is when objectively she's just not.
oh, 100%. And
So this dude,
she's got
gonna be
multiple Facebook
insane.
posts. And her actual name is Devin.
Ew.
Yep. So
Oh, makes
dude's name,
sense.
but she goes by Sunshine. Yeah.
What?
I hate
Yeah.
all of it. I hate all of it.
Yep. And then she dyed her hair like yellow or orange or fucking blue or green or
fuck
purple
that.
or
Speaking of false female empowerment, your homegirls are gonna get a lot of screen time tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
What's on your bingo card? What are you gonna see? What are you looking forward to seeing?
So
heard there's an assassination
just
attempt
saw-
planned.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised. I was
Who
scrolling
do you
through
think the counter
Instagram.
sniper is?
I set the trap. There's NFL memes Instagram. Love that account. They posted the Super Bowl 50 whatever the fuck, I don't even know number we're at. And
Super Bowl 69.
one day we'll get there. That's
the
gonna be
Lions' year.
the Super Bowl.
That's the Lions.
Lions year.
We're just waiting.
Dude, the first one on the bingo drinking was anytime you see Taylor Swift. And then in
yeah.
parentheses it says this isn't actually part of the game. You're gonna get alcohol poisoning.
She's gonna dominate. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. I get to see Taylor Swift and football. And I don't even have to change
I
channels.
stand by it. I've heard.
I understand why it pisses everyone off, though. I completely understand that.
And I get it. It's not exactly like the Bud Light ad thing,
Yeah.
but it's like you're kind of forcing. Well, I guess that's a bad term for it. You're putting this in front of people who aren't there to see it and really don't care about it. But the NFL knows that. They're trying to bring in a completely different demographic that's not watching the game. So I get why they're doing it. But and I stand by this because even before the whole NFL thing started, like, we knew the US government like declared her a huge person of influence based on the number of people drawn to her shows,
for sure.
ticket sales and all that stuff. And then the Travis Kelce thing happened, and they started dating, and the NFL thing sort of came into being.
Oh yeah,
and then we saw that there was actually that presentation done by the CIA of how they would employ her
love the CIA.
to basically manipulate.
They are my favorite
the
CIA.
opinions and like the public sort of opinion on whatever matter it is.
Yeah.
So the CIA is already pitching that. They were already using her as a theoretical and talking about it. Then the AI nudes get shared on Twitter and blow up, right? And before anyone can even go in and really look at them, they're gone. You can't even find them on Reddit, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
Like,
that says a
they are
lot.
not on the deepest, darkest corners of Reddit anymore. And after it happened, whatever black White House talking lady, she was like saying the White House is urging Congress to like pass, legislation to prevent this from happening. Mind you, before this, famous people's nudes and like sex tapes were leaked all the time. And to this day, you can still find them. And those, oh, by the way, those are real. These are AI generated pictures, and they are completely erased from the record of all internet
Allegedly
history.
AI generated.
Oh, they're definitely, yeah, you can tell. Like,
I
by
never
the
got to
way
look
it's
at them,
done.
so
Like the only in like certain like thumbnails for articles, they'll be just like you can tell like it just have like her face is like a part of it, like
Yeah.
of the image. The rest of it's like behind like the title and completely obscured by blur. But you can tell just by like the way the artwork is done, like it is AI, but it's definitely her.
damn.
Um,
The
but
disappointment.
the fact it was gone so quickly, the White House got involved, Congress got involved, did actually pass laws,
Shit's insane.
and are still passing laws related to it. Like, yeah, she's definitely with like the government is definitely fucking using her, and and I can see it. Maybe not during the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl, maybe a couple days, but
It'll
you know who's gonna come out and endorse the dying candidate on
Yep.
the left to try to
Yep.
keep him in the race.
the Faisal sponsored
It's the perfect
yeah,
match, dude. You
100%.
have the pharmaceutical industrial marketing machine out there.
Yeah,
And by the way, there's no way he actually got that.
absolutely not.
There's no way you could still be performing at that level. That big of a dude, if like he took and actually boosted and like
Like the shit
repeatedly
she says she does.
received that
Yeah.
treatment, yeah, his heart would be he would have Damar Hamlined a while
Oh
ago
yeah,
at this point. Like, there's no
100%.
fucking way he took it.
You want to know much? I figured out how much he got paid by Pfizer to
Oh, I know
partner
it's
with
an
him.
absurd number.
I'll let both you guys take a guess. So his yearly or his contract for Kansas City is like $34 million.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys take a guess how much he got paid by Pfizer
Just
Did
to
they
be the
double
face
it?
of those ads.
just to be the face of the ads.
Did they double it?
No, not quite. They paid him $20 million,
Dude,
and
Holy
it's for like a
fuck.
1-year contract to run him on his
That's
ads.
literally like
Dude.
that's a good NFL contract.
That is a great NFL contract, and he got paid that to be a poster boy to get fucking vaccinated.
That and like
Yeah.
honestly, before everything happened, during the Wuhan flu era, I would have told you I'd pedal whatever. I wouldn't
Oh
care.
yeah,
But then seeing how fucked up and shitty things were and still are because of it, like I was like, I got a line. I don't think I could.
nope.
I know that's a lot of money. I don't think I could.
I'm in the same boat. Like I'm like, okay, like I'll do a lot of shit for.
I've thought about it too. I was like, if I were in his boots, would I do it? And I've heard people time after time say, "Oh, you have to hit the money. You have to do." It. I was like, you know what? I don't think I could because I've now associated the people behind it who are pushing it, who let grandmas die alone, scared in
Yeah.
nursing homes. Like I've equated those people to essentially the modern day Nazis, and like I can't get that out of my head. I could not be the mouthpiece for that. I
Fuck
don't think
no.
I could. I don't think there's a price tag on it.
This is the people that are like, oh, where would you have stood in
Yeah.
1930s Germany, late
I can
1920s
say pretty
Germany,
confidently I know where I'd stand now. Yeah.
and these people that are like so adamant about that they'd be on the right side of history are still to this day in 2024 pushing the gotta gotta get vaccinated, gotta get boosted, gotta fucking wear your mask in the car
Turn
by
on your
yourself with the windows
guns.
up, and it's like you guys clearly don't recognize that you would be on the wrong side of history, and you are like openly and adamantly putting yourself on the wrong side of history every day, and like talking about how great this shit is, that what is the benefit because you can still get it. Like I remember when they first came out, like if you get the shot, like you can't get COVID, and then it's like, oh well, if you get the shot, like you won't get symptoms, and then it was if you get the shot, it'll be reduced symptoms, and then it was well, you can still get it full symptoms, still can die from it, and you'll have like enlarged heart, all sorts of probability that you'll get some type of something that will just absolutely destroy you. But you should probably still get it just because we say you should get it, and we're making a
The
shit ton of money.
and even before the whole like jab discussion started, my favorite thing that I learned well after the fact from reading um was remdesivir, the molecule, the treatment that was being used at the start of this to like treat COVID patients, was pushed heavily by Fauci. Trump was even like, yes, it's a great thing because Fauci said it was a great thing essentially, and he had to sort of say something.
Yeah,
Well, it turns out the creator of remdesivir, who long, long time ago, was created to sort of stop malaria, or whatever the fuck was raging through Africa at the time. And as this guy tested it, it all it did was basically if you gave it in a high enough dosage for a long enough time, it just resulted in total organ failure and just killed people. And the
holy
guy who
fuck.
created it, like, basically stopped his research on it and stopped testing and pushing it because his last quote on it was basically remdesivir is incompatible with life. The dude who created it to like solve like cure other viruses
Yeah.
said this just kills people. There's nothing here for it.
Yeah.
There's no patent on it though. So because he didn't patent it, he just kills people. Why the fuck would I patent it? So
Yeah.
of course NIH, NIAD, whatever the fuck Fauci's in, picks it up, hails it as this new COVID thing because it was antiviral, and this guy was looking at it.
Hmm.
Turns out that 90+% of the people on ventilators were all remdesivir recipients, and it was just killing them.
I had 2
Holy
family
shit.
members that literally died 6 days apart. They were married. One was my grandma's cousin and his wife. She died first. They put her on was had COVID, went to the hospital, was starting to feel better. They're like, "All right, we need to put you on a vent." Like literally,
That makes a lot of
she was
sense. Yeah.
supposed to get discharged that day. Like, we need to put you on a ventilator. Like,
And you know,
it's gonna get
I
worse.
wonder why the
What?
hospitals are so
Yeah.
short on ventilators.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like, okay, so she's supposed to get discharged. They put her on a vent. Her husband comes in, who's my grandma's cousin. He's got COVID,
Yeah.
basically like 5 rooms down. He has had kidney issues his entire life. Had a kidney transplant right before COVID.
Yeah.
Who he ended up getting the kidneys from another cousin that passed away. Fucking just pure coincidence. He was really, really sick. Started to feel better. And then they're like, we need to put you on a vent too. Like, what the fuck?
Why? What?
Literally, she went on a vent like 3 days later, died. Put him on a vent 5 days later, died. Like, and they're like, oh, that was purely coincidence. Like, bullshit. They were both supposed to be discharged like 48 hours before you put them on the ventilator.
It's the whole incentive program, especially when it comes to like the pandemic sort of response, where hospitals who have the most people on ventilators are going to receive more money basically to keep people alive, and so the whole thing was just fucking back asswards. And
I found out how much they were charging people that got put on ventilators. It wasn't because their kids got like the medical bills and everything from the hospital. It was $60,000.
oh gee, thanks.
Holy
Sixty
fuck.
thousand
I'm
dollars,
glad that kept both my family members alive. Thank you.
and that was
God
sixty
damn.
thousand dollars per day they were on the ventilator.
Oh,
So
fuck yeah.
3 days for one, 5 days for the other. That's what 8 days at 60 grand a piece.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was
At least it saved their lives.
yeah. And then they got a letter of apology, like maybe a year and a
Oops.
half later from the hospital, like, hey, we didn't know any better. This is what we were directed to do at this point in time. Like,
Bullshit. You're all doctors. You know
yeah,
better.
100% they
yeah.
knew better. But because we basically had immunity from the government with the whole vaccination thing, there were certain stipulations in that. We also got immunity. We just wanted to apologize. Nothing we can do for
And
you.
that's the fucking thing, right? Because like you trust the people who are supposed to be good are going to be good, and they're just not. Like
Never. They're
whoever
the worst
controls their
fucking people.
paycheck, whoever controls, their means of living, it does not matter how good they are. That's why it's one of I think a lot of people are starting to realize now that like it's sort of like it's up to them.
Yeah.
Become self sufficient, become self reliant, learn how to defend yourself. Maybe grow your food. So,
Yeah, true. Yeah, I fucking
dude, this thing is taking its time. Where is it?
I can't see headlights
I
yet.
can't see headlights either.
I think it's
It's
coming
gonna
from
be.
north.
It's got to be. It's a huge freight train
Yeah,
moving that slow.
Pendejo.
Someone might be on the tracks. Honestly, they might have thrown the brakes.
true. Society nowadays, sometimes you got to step on the tracks and really contemplate life. And you're like, huh?
Oh, dude. After we left last night, I was driving up Main Street, and I look to my left and I see police cars. I'm like, ha, couldn't be me. And then I realized someone made a left-hand turn and started driving on the tracks.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. And I was like, damn, that's kind of rough. And I probably HIPAA, um, because I got like a 12, 14 foot 1 inch wire rope in the back of my truck.
that's what
You
she
know,
said.
and it fucking pulls things whenever it needs to be pulled. So if I had any less of a substance that night, I would have been like, hey, I could pull you out. And you don't have to pay a couple hundred for a tow truck, but
you can drink and
assuming,
drive responsibly in this state.
100%.
yeah, allegedly,
That's what the limits for.
With
yeah.
with the fucking amount of potholes that we have and the size they are, like, listen, officer, I
I
was
also
just
drive a
avoiding the
Jeep, so
pothole.
I mean I can
Yeah.
easily explain that away.
And
Like the
then
death
I
wobble.
saw like 3 squad cars, and I was like, I don't need to talk to the police right now.
They don't look like rum and coke guys.
No, definitely not.
No, I honestly I've never seen that. That's a new one. If someone just turned right onto the tracks
Mhm.
instead of staying on the road, I'm hoping that
Yeah.
was a
Accident.
Because
yes. I'm
they're
hoping that was an alcohol-induced accident.
yeah, because it has that crossroads, and they're what within like fucking like 30 yards or
Mhm.
2 points where like the car road like crosses the fucking train tracks, and he was made a fucking turn, and he was heading south on the train tracks.
Dang.
I drove by real slow, and I was looking at the situation. I was just like, I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at this car. Ain't no way this dude didn't even get out of the bar.
He said, "I'm taking that midnight train anywhere it wants."
He left you and said, "Have a
Turn
good
left.
ass night." There's that new train, I guess Florida, I forgot where in Florida it is. They put in this new like high speed like train system, and it's killed like hundreds of people.
What?
Yeah. So I
was
guess
not aware of
it's
that.
in an area where like there always have been trains, but it's like really slow
Yeah,
trains,
yeah.
and stopping for the train is like more of a suggestion, I guess, in this area, because it's
Understandable.
known that you can just beat the train every time.
Yeah,
So
because it's going
high
fast.
speed train comes in, and like in its first like 2 or 3 months, like 120 people just got hit by this thing,
Holy fuck.
and they're like, guys, stop for the fucking train, please, for the love of God.
The train don't stop.
The train
It go.
never stopped.
I mean, being a conductor, I mean, you see some shit. I know, people, animals getting
Oh,
hit
yeah.
all the time. Like that's gotta be brutal, especially here because like this thing goes downtown,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
fairgrounds and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like I can't imagine what's hanging around that train yard.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of things.
Every now and then, when I'm out there in the summer, I'll just be watching the cars go by and all like the graffiti. I'm like, I wonder how many people are in there.
Dude, you'd be surprised. I used to have a friend that he would train hop. Like he got after he did that, he did from like 17 to like 24. Got super into cars,
Yeah,
super into drifting. Like amassed a huge following on Instagram. Like, but he every now and then he'll like post back to like when he was train hopping, like pictures of it.
getting
he's
back
like,
to my roots, and he's on a train with a bindle.
he's like, dude, I miss it. He's like, all the time, I just want to like hop on a train and just see where it takes me. I'm like, that is psychotic. Like
That's a wild man right
I'm
there.
like the fucking cold, like
That's
the cold,
adventure.
I
like
respect it.
yeah. There's like mattresses set up there. There's TVs. I'm like, how the fuck? Like you guys are playing like the original Xbox, like in a train car.
That's got to be nostalgic as shit.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that
Like
is
looking at the pictures, I'm like, that is
badass.
the coolest thing I've ever
You
seen, and
doing
I
a
want to
LAN
do it.
party with a guy like in the car over.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, yeah. I'm like,
Fucking
that's
Modern
something I want
Warfare
to do.
2 Rust 1v1 me, bro.
Hey,
Just Halo Gulch, just
Yeah.
hell yeah.
That's insane. They
But no,
have
dude,
power on that shit?
that's what I'm like, how the fuck? He's like, honestly, I don't even remember how we got power. He's like,
How does he not remember? There needs to be an outlet to plug that bitch
he's
in.
like, I think it was a converter. I'm like, I don't see a converter or a generator or shit on the train. I just see a mattress that looks like someone died on it, and like 15 people in this train car with 4 people plugged into an Xbox and TV that's the size of that case. So that's a 13-inch screen,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're just like going to town playing video games. I'm like, looks cool as shit. I want to do it now. Never thought in my life. I'm like, I'm gonna hop a train, but now I'm like, maybe I will just to get some nostalgia points.
oh shit, it's the
Fucking
Xbox One. I'll wait for the Sony train to.
More of a Sony guy myself, maybe
Yeah.
a PC guy, but you never know. Find the right train, we can talk about it. But no, man, that was an interesting story to see him post on Facebook, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's insane. Sounds
Yeah.
fun. Though. Around here, I'd be kind of scared I'd wind up at a DTE plant.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
He would go from like Everett in Washington, going
Yeah.
like down the coast and to California through
Oh,
Oregon.
fuck, yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
I'm
up,
sure- I
he'd
mean,
go
I
up and
know-
down the west coast into Canada. He's like, dude, I couldn't tell you how many times I've snuck in and out of Canada and Mexico through
Yeah.
the train car. I'm like,
That's what my thought was too, because Detroit's so close to that Canadian
Yeah.
border right there.
Yeah.
1 and 2, Detroit isn't like a sanctuary city technically, but it's like the step below where like it still happens, but they can decide when enough's enough, but you don't
Yeah.
hear anything about it.
Yeah.
So like you get all those people plus the Canadians. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people on those trains that shouldn't be on those trains,
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
100%.
whether they chose to be there or not.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure there's a couple that just got thrown onto the train. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're out. Let's
Oh yeah.
you're going to the train or you're going to the wood chipper, and some of them probably deserve the wood chipper.
I'm pretty sure Michigan's a pretty big place for trafficking, unfortunately. in certain
Michigan is
areas.
the #1 state for trafficking. It's something like
Glad I had my facts straight on that.
it's something like 750,000 people a quarter through Flint, just the city of Flint, get trafficked.
That's
So
crazy.
what you're
Nobody
saying
lives,
is if
nobody
I
lives
just
in Flint. Where are the people coming from?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Like there, like
So if I
like to
see a
look up the
U-Haul
stats.
truck on 75 and I just decide to pit maneuver it, I have like a 75% chance of being right.
There's a
Multiple
good
homicide,
possibility.
yeah.
Good possibility. There's definitely someone in there that shouldn't be in there, but it's like one of those crazy ass
I
stats.
It's
didn't
just reminded
fucking
me.
know
Have you
that.
seen the video? There was a trucker who was like explaining. He's like every now and then like a stowaway who like sneaks into like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
back of like the 18 wheeler or whatever.
yeah.
He's like he points like a module's got underneath, and like I guess the whole chassis of
Oh yeah.
the trailer is like wired. And when he flips the switch, it shocks like everything in there. And he's like, "You're gonna hear someone's in there." And he turns the switch, and sure enough, someone just starts screaming bloody murder from inside. And he was like,
Holy
"Oh,
fuck.
someone in there." I was like, "Oh, that's crazy."
That's
Holy
insane.
shit.
What?
I'll try to find the reel again if I can find. I couldn't believe I was watching. I was like, "There's no way." And sure enough, I don't know how real it is, but like,
That's cool as shit.
who knows if it's
That's
real or
funny
not?
as
But I
fuck.
was like, not a bad idea. I feel like especially if you're driving around the south
Oh
a
yeah.
lot, like
Oh
happens
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Probably happens everywhere now,
Oh
but
yeah.
Yeah. True, unfortunately, but yeah, that is super cool.
I was so pissed. It was just some dude screaming. I was like, "God damn it!"
So I'm gonna have to clean that one up next.
Now you're gonna come out. You're gonna be pissed. I'm already pissed at you for being in my truck in the first place. You're gonna come out with an attitude now because I just
You're
shocked
gonna
you.
come out with an attitude.
Yeah.
Your dumbass got on the wrong fucking semi, got shocked, come out pissed. Fuck.
Jesus fuck. That's cool as hell though.
That's
God
a
damn.
good idea, actually.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if I could do something like that to my car. Like someone like grabs the wrong door handle,
Yeah.
shit shocked out of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can do like some sort of like reverse kill switch instead of it like, keeping the car off until you do something before you touch a certain handle. Like it's the
Yes.
whole car is just hot.
Just ready to fucking blow.
You would actually make a killing if you sold that to like Hellcat owners.
True.
Oh hell yeah.
Especially in this city.
Oh,
Fuck.
dude, I mean, not most, but there are several big insurance companies that won't insure them in the city of Detroit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Yep.
Let's be honest, every Detroit rapper is like, I got a Hellcat.
It's
Not
either
mine.
It's gone.
it's either a Hellcat or it's those 3-wheel fucking like crossbow
Oh, the
things.
slingshots?
The
Yeah,
slingshots.
slingshot.
Dude, I used to live downtown, right
Oh,
on
dude.
Woodward,
Yeah.
and like clockwork in the
Oh
summer
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
weekend,
The
there
fucking
would be
slingshot suite.
bobs of those things, dude. Neon, underglow.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, old dudes in those or motorcycles blast like R&B music at deafening volumes on their
Yep.
bikes, and I never got it. I was like, why is this the vibe? Like it's chill,
It's
it's
so
cool, but like
loud
you're
because
wearing all
it's
leather, you got
average
the all
volume to
black
them.
bikes, it's like murder crew squad, whatever on your your
Their
cut.
hearing
And
is
then I'm
so
hearing
shot.
R. Kelly just
Oh my
fucking
god.
ripping down Woodward, and I was like, what is this? This is just insane.
Yeah, dude. I seen that at the Woodward Dream Cruise this year, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I seen them rolling up, and all I could hear was just like music bumping, but I
Yeah.
couldn't tell what it was until they got closer, and I'm like, and then I seen them, and I'm like,
On some
this,
fucking
like
tricycles.
this does not like. First of all, this does not fit the demographic that I would think drive this. I'd think like your stereotypical like midlife crisis can't afford a Corvette, so he bought a slingshot for 15 grand.
Florida dad, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's where he went. Like not that at all.
Uh-huh.
Somehow they're all wearing leather with like
Yep.
these fucking weird bucket helmets, and
Yep.
everything's got neon. Everything is like, hey, I just pissed on a 14-year-old, R. Kelly style. And I'm like, okay, so you're probably a creep. And then you get like the third one in, and they've got like, a 12-year-old in the passenger seat, and then it's like a 15-year-old. And then these guys are like, well past the age where that's acceptable, not in their 20s, not
The
30s.
best part is though, the bike community
Does not.
is still very segregated. I
Yeah.
think there's really no way around it. Like in the sense, but not like black and white. I'm sure it still happens in most places,
Yeah.
not around here. But like the 3-wheelers, they will never be one of us.
They do not get claimed.
If they show up to bike night, they have their own corner. If they park next to a normal bike, nobody's happy. Like,
Someone's
it's
moving their bike.
hilarious. The cool part about this, so downtown here in the summer, it's every Wednesday.
Yeah. Royal Oak Bike Night.
Maybe Thursday or Tuesday.
It used to be Wednesdays. Like back in the day, it was Wednesdays. I feel
It
like I'm
might
aging
be.
myself there at mid-20s, but
Because I feel like I was going to it after strength and conditioning. So it was either Tuesday or Thursday this last year. But it was right behind the Citizens Bank, and like hundreds, would fill that tiny little parking lot.
oh yeah.
And there was one little corner by the dumpster, not for the 3-wheelers. The 3-wheelers had their own corner, and there was many of them. but by the dumpster there was just the moped crew.
Oh my
And
god.
but like vintage, like old school, like 90s
Like the
mopeds.
Honda
Yeah.
Ruckus.
They're like a bunch of like
Yeah.
tricked out, like stretched and lowered Honda
Yeah.
Rucks. And I was like, respect. These guys know what they are. They don't take themselves too serious. They're doing like wheelies shit, just parking lot in their mopeds. I was like, these guys are having a good time. That's hilarious.
That's cool as shit.
And like they showed up every week with their mopeds. Like I don't think a single one of them actually own a motorcycle. Their moped, that's just it. Like they love their
Fucking
moped.
moped
It's
gang
crazy.
gang. Rocking the moped life. Dude, maybe I'll get a Honda Ruckus. I was gonna get a Harley for the summer, but
I got a Harley.
maybe
It's
I'll get a
fun.
maybe I'll get a Ruckus. Dude, I really want an Indian, but I just can't justify the price of it.
Oh, dude,
They're
it's
so
fucking
expensive.
Indian Scout would be cool as fuck.
Yeah, I
I
know.
also don't want to be a bug splatter on someone's windshield.
100%. I look at it
Yeah,
every now and
I think
then.
about that quite often.
Yeah,
Although
it's tough because people drive. Just in my daily experience of people don't know how to stay in their fucking lane. Whenever there are lines that guide you to stay in your fucking lane,
I've had
they can't
plenty
stay
of
in their
that.
lane.
But I will say the closest I've ever come to dying have just been from the condition of the roads, not even someone
Yeah.
else trying to kill me. I've had someone almost take my leg off in Detroit. Cop was coming, so I was pulling over. I learned very quickly you do not stop for police unless they are
No.
pulling you over. Like you
Yeah.
let them carry on, but don't kill
Keep it
yourself trying to
trucking.
get over.
Yeah.
Chevy Cruze almost took my left leg trying to do that.
Damn.
Holy
And then
fuck!
plenty of retards on Woodward here,
Oh
just
yeah,
moms dropping their kids off or
yeah,
going to work, and like, and like when you make a big fuss and look at them, they get all pissy too. It's like you almost killed me, moron.
yeah. Do you
Yeah.
see this with doors? I'm that much closer to the
And
fucking
that's the
asphalt.
thing. Like every now and then I get fired up because I watch something on the news or something's happening. I'm like,
Yeah.
has nobody like watched this? Is nobody paying attention?
No.
And then I realize who I'm driving around. I'm going, oh yeah, you're right. No,
Yeah.
nobody's plugged in right now. Nobody has any
Everyone
idea what's
here's
going
fucking
on.
retarded.
Everyone's fucking solidified, plugged into their phone, like zero attention to what's going on around them in their
Yeah.
Part of me can't blame them because like you're probably stuck in some bureaucratic nonsense job, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to feed yourself, your family, keep a roof over your head, and like that's just what you have to do. And so you
disconnect and disassociate.
you really
Damn
only
straight.
connect or commit as much as you need to. And if that means you're sort of on autopilot in your car on the way to work, I kind of get it. It sucks
Yeah.
for me and everyone else, but like I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, but at the same time, like you've got to have at least some type of
Yes.
situational awareness. Which, like, the older I get and the more I get to like guns, tactical, cool guy shit, and I'm like, the more I realize no one has any type of situational awareness at
Mm-mm.
all. Like, you walk through
Nope.
the grocery store and like you just people watch. Everyone's got their headphones in. Everyone's got their phone in the shopping cart or in their basket and fucking scrolling. Like,
I will be
no
like
attention.
walking, someone will walk right in front of me, and I will be on their heels with a grocery cart, and they just don't even feel I'm
They would
breathing
be
down
never
the
the
back of
wiser.
their neck. They have no fucking
Yeah.
No
clue.
fucking
I
idea.
was like, dude, I cannot believe this. If someone even I saw someone coming out of my peripheral, I would get out of the way faster.
100%. Fucking just keep it trucking, dude. I've seen so many times people walking through like Walmart. I was there one time back in Washington, and this lady just not paying attention at all. And I see this little girl come fucking just running out of the aisle. She couldn't have been more than like 5, fucking bawling her head off, like just freaking the fuck out. This lady almost hits the kid, stops, starts yelling at this poor kid, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, hey, little
She
girl, like,
definitely deserved it.
I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? She's like, I lost my mom. And I'm like, okay, so go because we're right by the clothing desk. I go fucking tap the little button. No one's there, of course. And I'm like, hey, I found a kid. Like,
I'm just gonna take this
I'm trying.
phone on the wall and just make a
Yeah,
public
and that's what
service
I did. I
announcement. Yeah.
fucking like no one was coming, so I was like, fuck it. Got on the loudspeaker. I'm like, hey, clothing desk. I found a little girl, maybe 5, pink shirt, blue sweatpants
Somebody
thing.
help.
Someone come find your kid. This mom shows up like 35 minutes later. Fucking went to checkout, groceries already bagged, and she's like, "Oh my god, I heard over the loudspeaker. Like, I'm so glad you're still here." And
You're still here.
I'm like, it's been 35 fucking minutes since I was
Holy
watching
shit.
my phone. And I'm like,
Attention shoppers,
yeah.
if you've lost your 5-year-old.
And she's like, I just had to get my grocery shopping finished, and I figured she was with an employee, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not an
Figured.
employee. So I'm glad that you just have faith in society that someone didn't kidnap your fucking kid and
It's
just
the last
announced
place
it
I'm going to assume someone's gonna babysit my kid at
is fucking Walmart. So fucking,
Oh my
I'm
God.
like,
Chick-fil-A maybe.
she's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she's like, she's been gone for like almost an hour. I'm like, first of all, you spend an hour at fucking Walmart. I'm judging you on that. Second of all, Second of all, I'm judging you on the fact that you're like, yeah, my kid's lost, but someone made an announcement over the loudspeaker 35 minutes ago. Figured I'd
Couldn't
finish
be me.
shopping. Couldn't be me. My child is MIA, but that's probably not mine. Mine's probably somewhere else crying.
I wouldn't worry about it.
But yeah, she's like, okay, well, we're gonna go home now. I'm like, well, I'm glad that your kid's safe, and I hope that doesn't happen again. So, like, I don't even know how to finish the conversation. Have a great day, bye. But like, just walked out of the store nonchalant, put her kid in the cart in the little fucking where you put your legs through, and like just went about her day. And I was like, what the fuck did I? Like,
That wasn't the first time.
no, absolutely not. Like,
Oh,
she's just like
That was
calm,
every other one.
nonchalant as shit.
she was completely expecting an associate there just to babysit her kid, which is nuts. But
It's
no,
like
like
maybe if I just drop my kid off.
nobody's plugged in. Nobody has any
Daycare.
fucking awareness. And even
Yeah.
when I was living downtown, like I didn't have like a group of people who was like plugged in like this really.
Yeah.
And my dad was always somebody who was like, you got to keep your head on around you, no matter where you are, but especially in a city. That's just the
Oh,
nature
yeah.
of cities. Like when I was very young, like kindergarten or something, I went to like downtown like Chicago with like my parents at the time. His company had like a suite somewhere at some hotel that they had like year round. So we went there. They
Yeah.
were there for their anniversary, whatever. I just sort of tagged along. And when we were walking, like my dad was like, walk quickly, stand up straight, but always like keep your wits about you, check behind you every now and then, just stuff like that, just basic stuff. And he'd
Yeah,
always like
yeah.
reinforce it. And that's just sort of how it's just stuck with me.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been. Living downtown Detroit and knowing Detroit is
Not a
it's
great
not
place.
Chicago, but
Yeah.
it's not a safe or really nice city. That sounds bad. It's a lot nicer, but it's still
It's better than what it was a couple.
it still used to be the
years ago.
murder capital, and it's still not perfectly safe. Um, and like going downtown there at night, like you see people like walking around doing stuff and like approaching people and getting loud and a little aggressive and stuff. And
Yeah.
like I'm with groups of people who are just getting hammered, running around, screaming, just being completely carefree and careless. I was like, you guys have no fucking clue, do you? Like you're gonna walk right into a fucking problem. They're cutting through alleys as shortcuts with like no lights or cameras. And you guys are out of your fucking minds. You just graduated college. You have this idealistic view of the world, and everything's gonna be fine. Do whatever I want. I'm like, you're all out
Just
of it.
fucked in the head. That
Yeah.
actually reminds me. Did you grow up? You guys grow up going to like Tigers games
Oh, yeah.
downtown?
No, I grew up in Oklahoma City, so
Okay,
yeah.
so growing up, go to Tigers games, like that was like the fun thing to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Do you remember like the homeless people outside after
yeah.
the game? Like, I mean, still to this day, there's homeless people outside after the games, like standing there with signs and
Yeah.
shit. So there was one lady. I haven't been to a Tigers game, and I couldn't tell you how long, but she used to sit down there. She was in a wheelchair. She had one leg missing, and always would fucking just like scream at the top of the lungs at people. And one night, I was like 11, got into an argument with this dude. Was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with him. He's obviously just extremely intoxicated. And you remember the brown paper bags of peanuts that they sold?
yeah.
Yes.
So he was fucking eating those while he's arguing with them, like spit talking, because
Oh.
that's what drunk people do.
Oh my god.
Disgustingly, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. She fucking goes into her pocket, and I'm like, oh shit, this isn't gonna be good. Grabs a needle out, like a dirty syringe needle, and fucking stabs him in the leg. Pulls it out, stabs him in the other leg. Like
Hepatitis B.
and that's it. She's like, I've got hepatitis. That's what I use. That's my shoot up needle. And I was like, oh shit. And he starts fucking freaking out and
She
literally.
just. What?
I'm like I was 11, and like my dad, like he's like got me wrapped into him. He's like just keep walking. Like you don't need to see this, and like progressively slow myself down. So I'm like this seems fucking intriguing.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So yeah, we were parked like a block away. Cops were like fucking swarmed it because he started yelling and tried to like physically attack her, like tried to fight her
Oh
in
yeah,
a wheelchair, which I would have too if I just got stabbed
Oh
with a dirty
fuck
heroin
yeah,
needle.
dude.
Like, yeah, 100%.
That everything about that is fair game.
Yeah, she gets arrested. Like cops are literally fucking lifting her up on her one leg and handcuffing her, which I'm like, that's fucking epic at 11. And then I see an ambulance just fucking haul down the road, and I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely for him. He refused to get in the ambulance because he's like, well, I'm going home. I'm like, you're extremely intoxicated. No way you should be able to drive.
You do that.
Yeah, I'm like, so you have fun with hepatitis in both your legs, and don't trust the EMTs. Yeah, that was one of the wildest things I'd ever seen after a Tigers game. I was like, what? Like, what am I watching right now?
I never thought of it because they probably all do. I'm not
Oh,
all,
yeah.
but a majority.
Yeah.
Not even
100%.
majority. This sounds really bad. I'm tripping over myself a lot here, but like A lot of them probably do have needles on them.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying thought that they could just weaponize them at any moment.
Oh my god, dude.
Now I have to go downtown playing like Assassin's Creed, thinking when I'm just gonna pull out a needle and just fucking rock you with it randomly in the crowd.
I think that's one of my biggest trust issues growing up. Like, I had the biggest fear of homeless people for like a long time after that. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna like bump into one on an accident and they're
They're
gonna
gonna give
fucking
me
stab me.
AIDS.
And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, they're gonna have like AIDS or something, or they're just gonna pull a needle and just like quick 1-2 into the fucking leg or the side, and I'm gonna be like, I'm dead by
Dude,
20.
I would take the tunnel Jews versus the biological warfare any day. Any day.
Oh, 100%, dude. I seen that shit, and to this day, I still like going down to Tigers game. I watch every single one. I make sure I'm at least arm distance plus an extra foot out. I'm like, dude, I'm not getting stabbed with the fucking Hep B needle. Like, last thing I ever want to do.
There's also no way the one-legged lady in the homeless, or the one-legged homeless lady in the wheelchair was able to move like super quickly with the needles. The dude had to have been hammered. So if you got stabbed with that, you probably
Yeah,
deserved it.
dude. I don't know. She was feisty because we'd seen her a couple of times down there. Like, it was. We'd go to the games like we had
It's a
season
Hep B
tickets,
insane,
homeless
dude.
lady with one leg had some zip, huh?
and she was like a skinny lady, probably in her like 40s,
Oh, a little
maybe.
methy.
Oh, definitely Matthew.
Yeah.
100% Matthew. Like, but she I wouldn't say she was like fast, but she like the draw on the needle was quick. And I understand
She
like
was dry firing with the needle at home.
that's the thing is like, a lot of people they hear fast and they hear quick and they think it's the same thing, but like fast is like long term, like you build up that speed. Quick
Slow
is
is smooth, smooth is fast.
yeah.
Fast is
Quick is like
sexy.
immediate fucking like
She just went
quick
straight to
fast and
sexy with it and just stabbed him twice, both legs.
And I'm like I'm not gonna lie, like looking back, I'm like that was probably a really badass thing to do, especially one lady homeless. But at the same time, like you have to have some serious fucking like thought out plan to be like, I'm gonna get this dude, and I'm in the legs, like right above knee level, and I'm like, what if
It would just be so much better if she had two and just at the same time. When
just
it
double
just
dual wheeled?
staggered him in the legs.
But yeah, no, it was like a quick draw out of the fucking like she literally I seen her and like she did the roll on the in her wheelchair because it was
Yeah.
With the garment, yeah.
no, not even that. She literally just like rolled, like just slapped her hand onto her pocket, fucking tucked in, grabbed it and yanked out, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, first of all,
Practice makes perfect.
I'm like, cool. How'd you practice that? Second of all, how did you pull that needle out so quick? Because if you've ever stabbed,
What? How did you store that too?
it was in like a sweatpant pocket. I'm like,
Damn, just loose, huh?
there was no cover on it, so it had to have been poking her. And I know for a fact when you stab someone, it it's not an easy thing to just pull it out because the muscles contract and it grips onto
Yeah.
the blade or the knife.
Yeah.
And I know this because my uncle, the one with the daughter with a ton of abortions, back in like 94, 96, somewhere in that time frame, he accidentally, quote unquote, we'll throw some quotes in there, fell down like 3 stairs at his fucking double wide trailer with his wife at the time, who was the daughter of his 5 children, and stabbed her like 84 times.
Wait. Hold on.
Huh?
I need you to say that at half speed all over
There's a
again.
lot of math, yeah.
So my uncle,
Yes.
I'm with you.
the one with the daughter with the ton of abortions,
Yep.
Still there.
very successful lady, by the way.
Yep.
She's doing great things in life. His wife, who they've got 5 daughters,
Yes.
they got into a fight on my cousin's birthday, one of their daughters.
Yep.
So he had like it was like a lake property, really nice right off the river. Well, I guess river property,
Yeah.
call it lake property. And it was like a split level. So there's like three, how the split level is, 3 upstairs, 3 downstairs, and then there's like the main living floor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They were arguing because she was Canadian, moved down here, they got married. She was a prostitute in Canada.
Just asking for it.
So
Wow.
she would go up, like, had issues like drug addiction, shit like that. She would go up, ended up none of the kids were his except for one. So
Oh.
I think that was the point he found out,
You hate to see it.
and they got into a fight. She actually grabbed the knife off the kitchen counter, off like the Cutco cut blocks.
Yeah.
Grabbed the knife and tried to
Good
stab
knives.
him. Allegedly tried to stab him. He grabbed the knife and they fell down the stairs on a tri-level, which is like 3 fucking stairs, and he stabbed her like 84 times with all of my cousins in the house because they were having a birthday party on my cousin's actual birthday.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. He owned it.
Holy
Well, actually,
shit.
still does. Owns a very successful carpeting shop in Spokane. I'll give you that information, and if you are willing to look it up, go ahead and do a little bit of research. It's very easy to find, especially if you Google carpenter shop owner stabs wife in the 90s. Yeah, it. He admitted everything to the cops as they were putting him in the back of the cop car, but they hadn't read his Miranda rights yet, so none of it was admissible in court. None of it. And because at that time they didn't have body cams, there was no
Oh, yeah.
security cameras weren't everywhere. Like there was
Nothing.
he fucking spent like 30 45 minutes in the back of the cop car just telling the cops the
Yeah.
legit truth,
Yeah.
everything, because that obviously didn't happen. You don't stab someone that many times falling down 3 stairs, especially when you only fall down the stairs once.
I'd like to imagine like him telling the story, and it's like one level of stairs. You got to go around like the S shape, sort of like hang, and they roll down that, they roll down the other.
All right, back to the top. Let's run it back. He ended up getting 5 years because he had a fucking amazing lawyer. He only did like 20 months.
Damn.
Holy
And
shit.
it wasn't even like it was a prison, but it was like my mom and I used to go visit him. Which
Yeah.
she's like, oh, we're going to see Uncle Rick at the hospital. And I was
Oh
like,
my
I'm like, all right,
Classic
cool.
mom.
I'm like, cool as shit. Like,
Thank you
At
for
the
defending my
hospital.
innocence.
oh, listen, as soon as we got there and I seen him like in an orange jumpsuit, I was like,
Damn, he's sick.
yeah. I was like, dude,
He's
I'm
real
like, oh, this is
sick.
definitely not the hospital. And why is he in the
They
hospital
need
for
to give
so
him the
long?
striped pajamas. He's really gonna die soon, isn't he?
Yeah, but like it took almost 3 years for them to prosecute him. So I was born in '98. That happened like end of '90. I want to say '96. So they didn't prosecute him till almost 2000.
Jesus.
He was out on bail the entire time. Yeah, like
That's nuts.
they OR'd him. So on recognizance, so he didn't have to pay bail because they're like, okay, he said it was self defense. Like we can't really, even though he admitted it, we can't really prove it's not self defense and it wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
And you got a fucking great lawyer, so like I was like 2 3 years old going to visit him at the hospital, fully aware, excited, seeing shit on TV. I'm like, this probably isn't a hospital in an orange jumpsuit. And then like later on, it
I
turned
don't
to like a
see any
gray
doctors
jumpsuit.
anywhere.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Is like I'm like we're in a big ass white room with like white circular tables with a lot of other people around having the same conversations with people in gray jumpsuits. Like,
I only see cops and
yeah,
no nurses.
dude, no, there was no cops. There was the weird
Oh,
thing
really?
in the
Really?
visiting, which was
Yeah.
looking back is fucking concerning. Like,
That's interesting.
I'm like, this dude definitely murdered my aunt, and there's no cops like watching the visitation room. Like there was like one security dude like the front.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's a security officer. Like that's at every hospital.
Yeah.
Like, that's normal. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm a little kid. That makes sense. As I got progressively older, I'm like, this is making less and less sense. And then I asked, and they're like, oh yeah, no. I was like 15, and I'm like, so what happened with Uncle Rick and Aunt Cookie really? My mom's like, well, I was on the news a lot, and like, well, that doesn't sound good. And she's like, I fucking was defending him.
Way to start the story.
I'm like, I was defending him, super innocent, like, never believed he would do it, but no, he definitely stabbed that cookie a lot. And I'm like,
Sentence.
I'm like, you told me that she passed away and like overdosed on accident. We get the power cut. They don't like this story.
Did we lose power?
So no,
Oh, because everything else is
yeah,
still
like
on.
everything else is on.
That was weird.
That was super weird. Oh, I wonder if it's a motion sign. No.
I like ghosts. Hold on.
So do I. Let's go. That's my Aunt Cookie coming to have a conversation. She's like, stop fucking airing this shit out.
Yo.
She's like, not cool. It wasn't 84 times, it was 73. She's like, get it right. But yeah, no, that was I got some crazy ass stories in my family. Like
Other way.
Yeah,
about like
I was like,
really
why does
murdered
that
shit.
look concave?
Yeah, dude, that was like an interesting thing to find out. And then I'm like, okay. And then they're like, don't tell anyone because no one really knows. I'm like, everyone in the family was at the house when he fucking murdered these people. Speak of the devil, that's my mom calling there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it was very interesting to find
I
out like
don't
all
see
of this
any
information. And like the older I get, the more information starts to come out about like crazy shit happening in my family. I'm like,
That was my favorite thing was learning about all the crazy shit that happened like in like the families when I was in like grade school.
oh yeah.
And shit, like we had some guy who's basically just like a grifter who went from like town to town just like scamming people, and then
Happens.
he'd pick up and moved. and like he was able to scam enough to get his daughter into this. Like, I was lucky enough to go to private school.
Yeah.
Going to private school, got her in, and dude scammed like, or tried scamming my parents, but scammed like several others too, and they basically ran him out of town again.
Yeah.
The number of people whose wives tried banging other people's husbands
That happens
in a
even.
Catholic school was I had no idea until
What?
well after the fact. We're
Holy
hearing
shit.
about these whorish wives now. And it's just the funniest fucking thing. One of them, oh my god. Okay, and
Holy
I
shit.
have to say this. So when we'd go out to recess, and the guys were just menaces. Like, they prevent us from playing football because we just killed each other constantly out there. And the way that they had like moms who would sign up to basically monitor recess to make sure that the kids
Yeah.
didn't like
Yeah.
run away, because there was like no fence in this recess yard, which is crazy to think about now.
Yeah, that would never happen.
Make sure the kids were safe, nobody ran away, and then we basically were playing football and breaking each other's arms. So instead of football, we came up with I forgot what we called it, but it was essentially full contact basketball on the concrete.
Hell yeah. That's fucking
So we were playing that. We were getting away with it because it wasn't football, and the moms didn't know any better. We were getting away with that for like a month or so. And then finally, this one mom who we actually knew pretty well came over and was like, "You guys are being too rough. You got to stop." And so we're dudes. We're in like the 5th or 6th grade. Like, fuck it, just start punting the basketball as high as you can, because that's sick. We're guys. We're easily amused. Ball gets to me. I sky this fucking thing and watching it go up, and it's heading towards the general direction of the mom who just said, "Hey, cut it out." And that's fine. She's still walking away. She turns around to like say something, and it crashes in her nose and breaks her nose. Like, blood everywhere. Like, fucked her up real good.
Oh
That's
my
fucking
And I
god.
felt so bad, like head attention, all this stuff, whatever. Like, fast forward, years after I graduate, high school, graduate college, we're talking about turns out she tried sleeping with several people's husbands. She was just a big piece of shit, huge
Yeah.
whore. Her husband's a cock. And like, no, like legitimately. And then are you familiar with Dave and Chuck the Freak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they ended up on the show. They were a segment on the show. They went to Florida. She gets hammered at a bar, ends up putting her legs up like on the bar, not wearing anything underneath her dress, whatever.
Yeah.
Just flashing the bartender, trying to
Naturally.
get the bartender to sleep with her. He says no. She calls him the N word.
Oh my
They
god.
get thrown out in this huge fight. The cops arrive, and they're both so hammered, and like the husband's trying to like talk down the cops, basically like, you can have a piece, you can have like a run at her, like, just don't like
Fuck.
just don't like arrest us and all this stuff. She's like, trying to completely talk him down. They're like, no, she's definitely getting arrested. And they're like, I suggest you'd stop trying to tell us to do that so she doesn't get arrested. And he's like, well, fine, I'm getting arrested too. And then he got arrested with her, and they ended up on Dave and Chuck the Freak with their mug shots and everything. And I was like, damn, I'm glad I broke that bitch's nose.
That
Oh
is
my
fucking
god.
That
That's
is
insane.
fucking
That's one hell of a
savage.
kick, dude. Shit.
I got it up there. I got it up there. I used to be used to play goalie in soccer, so I could drop kick. I could punt if
Yeah.
I had to.
Fuck yeah. Goddamn.
Fucking amen.
How far did you kick that shit?
It's forever, dude. I wasn't far. It was high though. I went for height.
Yeah, okay.
Strictly height.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
distance there. That thing. Basketball too, man. It hits
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Those
square
things are
down, man. It
solid, dude.
just
The
claps
chances
it.
of that is astronomical.
Yeah, the chances were not. I figured we'd be fine, but
Dude, if you bought a Powerball ticket at that age, you probably would have won.
the best part is, as I remember, my parents were not mad at me at all for it. They laughed. When they heard what happened, they did laugh. They're like, you probably shouldn't have done that."
Yeah,
Man, that's
they definitely
crazy.
knew what was
I've
going
gotten
on.
into way more trouble for shit like way less than this. That's nuts. And then, years pass. I was like, okay, I get
You're like, yeah, you knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That was like a fucking instant karma thing. Fuck, dude, that's hilarious.
So it's one of those things that, like, when you're a kid, like, other people's parents, like, I was always, yes, Mr. and Mrs. whatever,
Yeah,
please,
yeah,
thank you,
yeah,
absolute respect. So,
yeah,
like, no matter who they were, like,
yeah,
and we didn't know, we were kids, like, I was always very respectful towards them.
yeah.
It, as a child, it wasn't even within the realm of possibility they could be fucked up or weird people.
Oh yeah,
See,
yeah,
as all your friends' dads are fucking or whatever their husbands
Exactly. It's
were.
yeah.
fucking weird.
Your dad's like, well, I had an opportunity, but I passed, but that's fucking awesome. Your mom's like, yeah, that bitch tried to fuck everyone.
Oh, dude, and again, very happy that this happened with this person, because we were really good friends with one family whose mom, at the time, passed away from like like a returning cancer, and she is hardly buried in the ground before this chick takes a pass at like the dad.
Wow.
And this was like her third or fourth attempt, and he said, "You know
Bless
what?
you.
Like, fuck you. If you come anywhere near my kids, me got like a restraining order, fucking death
Damn.
threats, all this thing. Get the fuck away from me."
Good for him, dude. That's some
And the
fucking.
best part is, he never told his kids that it happened, and his daughter was really good friends with the bitch's daughter, basically.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, the girl was like, "Why don't I ever hang out with you anymore?" And like, they're in high school or graduated high school at this
Yeah.
point. She's like, "Your dad like totally put a restraining order on our whole family."
Holy
I was
fuck.
like, "It's crazy not to tell your kid whose
That's
best friend
insane.
is this bitch's daughter."
Oh
That's
my
hilarious.
Dude,
god.
that's fucking awesome. That's fucking wild.
The idea of a restraining order is interesting, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
little piece of paper that says you can't come around me, but like at the same time,
They just
no
don't
way to
want
properly
you
enforce it.
using force at
Go
all.
to the
dude.
same school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no,
don't know how that works.
they did.
Okay.
I don't know if they were in different high schools at the time, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that worked out,
Okay.
but they definitely
Interesting.
had it, and they were
Yeah.
not hanging around each other.
Yeah.
Let me hit the bathroom real quick.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, go for it. Fucking hell.
Yeah, they just die. I've contemplated that. It's like, damn, they just don't want you to have any sort of means to protect yourself. Because only a certain people are allowed to use force.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, like with both the subway guys in New York City. Like, first we got the Marine.
Dude, that one drives me fucking
Yeah, because
nuts.
it's always the headlines was always like chokehold and everything. It's like that's Marines like we weren't trained to
Yeah,
do chokeholds. It's blood choke.
yeah,
You just cut that circulation for like 15, 20, 25 seconds. It just renders them unconscious for a couple minutes. And that's different than, a chokehold. A chokehold is collapsing the airway
right.
and quite literally choking them out. But the blood choke is just you're just unconscious. And then a little rub on the chest for a little bit, get
Mhm.
that static going, and then
Come
like
on,
they
money.
just wake up, wake up. And it's like, dude, like he fucking and then the commit fucking forgot the technical term for it, but the paperwork the coroner
Yes.
came out and was like, hey, like all the drugs fucking killed him. It wasn't any of this, and they're all still like, well, he made physical contact, so we're gonna go with this. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest shit.
And that one drives me fucking
Yeah.
nuts because that homeless individual is on like some top 100 list in New York, and
Yeah.
ran the numbers on that. And if you end up on that top 100 homeless offender list or whatever the fuck it is, the
You be
odds of you
doing some
being on
crazy
that
shit.
list in New York are less than if you were to apply to be an astronaut at NASA the last time they were taking applications
Yeah.
or getting struck by lightning. Like, it's crazy
Yeah.
how hard it is to be on that list. And the fact that he was able to offend 38 something times, tried to kidnap a 6-year-old girl,
Yeah.
exposed himself to dozens of people on the subway, and the fact that this guy tried to deal with it and he so tragically dispatched with the individual who was on God knows however many drugs and what drugs.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna crucify the dude who actually did what the state
Yeah.
couldn't do
Like this dude
on their own
deployed to
property. Yeah,
fucking Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever the fuck, and he just comes back to get fucking shafted by his home state. It's like
you you are not an agent of the state, therefore, or yeah,
yeah,
you're not an agent of the state here. You were over there.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
violence and
yeah,
capacity for violence was useful then.
yep,
Thank you for keeping us safe and defending our freedom and
yeah,
our interests out in the Middle East. But
yep.
fuck you if you ever lay a hand on that black homeless man who wanted to expose himself and beat the nice white lady riding the subway that day.
To be fair, he didn't have any oil on him, so not really super official, and that's not what we're fighting for. So, I mean,
He's not our
democracy.
greatest
He
ally.
didn't even have a pint at the 5W20.
My bad. It's democracy that we're fighting for over there. Definitely not oil. My bad. My apologies. I know
No,
someone's
but
gonna get pissed about
the
it.
best thing about this is like it's no longer even about that. We're just defending our greatest ally now,
Yeah.
and we're like, that's good
Yeah.
enough. They'll
Yeah.
believe that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Fuck it, and we'll just send what's his last bill, like 60 billion to Ukraine. 40 billion to
It surpassed the
Israel.
money they put aside for the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's
It
Oh.
surpassed that.
insane.
It
And
surpassed
I
the
wonder
budget that
why
they
like
get.
enrollment numbers are so
Yeah,
low. I
it's
wonder why
because
nobody wants to take part
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
crazy.
they told me come back in 6 months and try again, and then during that time I was trying to get healthy again. Like shout out to Not in Regs on Instagram
Okay.
for just funneling out all the toxic shit for people to see. And
Yeah.
it's just like everything I saw was just like I want no part of this anymore. I really don't.
Absolutely not. I
No
mean,
part.
it's
I'm
not.
over it.
It's not even worth the fucking.
Oh fuck no!
The
It's not worth
bullshit
the
you have to
pay.
go
It's not
through.
worth the bullshit. I'd be making E1s make like $23,000 a year, and then it goes up to like 27. And to make like by the time you get staff sergeant is that's E5.
Like you make like what 40 grand a year.
You're making like 42.
Jesus.
Yeah, the pay is terrible. I mean, like given like your housing's paid for, like you have a lot of shit paid for, but like the money you put aside to like for reference, like my pickup yesterday, or to this morning,
That nice little
it's
morning walk
been a
you gotta
long 24 hours. A new set of BFG KO2s just cost me $1,300,
Yep.
and that was with a 10% off coupon that gave me $120 off. And now my suspension's fucked,
Yep.
and my control arm, the ball bearing's fucking fucked. One of my rear suspensions fucking shot, I guess, and if I go with the OEM, like everything's gonna be like $1,200. But if I throw another 600 into it, I could get all Fox shit, and I'm not gonna have to worry about
It's
it
worth
breaking
the
again.
Fox upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it might be $2,000, 2,200 after.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I used to work at a tire distribution warehouse. You overpay so fucking much for tires.
Oh, I
Oh
believe it,
yeah,
dude.
dude.
Like
if you think cars are bad too, and you wanted a bike, wait till you have to pay for
Oh,
motorcycle tires.
listen,
You're gonna pay just as much only for
Yeah.
2 tires.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
fucked up.
I remember fucking pulling them off the truck, and we had to scan them in and inventory them, and like Walmart tires cost like $8 to make. The fucking BFG Goodrich tires cost like $72 a tire to make.
Yeah, dude.
And that's
It's
like
fucking
at our
ridiculous.
cost, shipped to our
It's
warehouse to distribute,
yeah.
to like discount and shit like that. And I was like,
So you're
these
telling
are
me
like
they're like Crye
$800 tires.
pants?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
dude.
set of tires could have got me like fucking.
I
Oh,
knew
this
you
is
did
crazy.
the
I
math.
was
I knew you
scrolling
did
through
the math.
Facebook before I got here, and apparently, if you go on the and you could submit like quotes for stuff, they have their form and everything, and it says like are you purchasing for yourself or an organization? Even if you like just do it yourself, like they'll still send you a quote. Allegedly, they'll still send you a quote for Woodland Marpat, but you have to buy like 3 or 4 pairs. So they're not fucking unicorns. It's just you have to buy a couple sets at a time because they're not just gonna sell you one pair.
Honestly, with the chat members, we can do.
Oh
that.
yeah, dude. Like
100%.
I just sent the email. I sent the quote. I was like, how much for like a 28, a 30, and a 32? Because the dude on Facebook was like, you have to like buy at least 3 at like 300, 310. But like fucking Woodland Marpat, dude.
Yeah, that is fucking sick.
We'll see.
That's a
We'll
good
see.
Michigan pattern.
Oh,
It
100%.
is. It's very, very sexy. We will see what turns of that. And if any of that's true, that's all HIPAA. So nobody else knows about that shit.
Yes. Okay.
100%.
That's all HIPAA.
100%. As soon as someone finds out about it, everyone in the fucking tactical Instagram space is gonna find it, and it'll be every fucking order.
I'm
It's
sure.
like,
I'm sure
wait,
it's already being abused by some.
Something
There's very
because
few
it was
secrets left.
already on Facebook. So like,
yeah,
and assuming it's true, assuming they'll send me a price tag for three pairs, we'll see
Yeah.
what the fuck happens. But
Did we all see the Tucker interview yet?
I was just gonna make a joke
I've
about the meme that I seen on the wall.
35 minutes into it.
I haven't seen
So
the entire
you're
yet.
still learning about the inception of Russia?
Yeah,
The way that starts is so good.
the
Literally,
year 800.
one question. It's so easy. Why wait until like 2 years ago to start this
Yeah,
offensive in
yeah.
Ukraine? Well, Tucker, back in the year 800, when Russia was first conceived, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Oh, dude, this quote I seen it and I like immediately thought of the conversation we had, and it's a little bit past dated from that. It's like, Mr. Putin, why did you invade Ukraine? He's like, 4 billion years ago, the Earth was in its cooling phase.
Literally, dude.
What the fuck?
The galaxy far
I
away.
was just about to say.
No, and like, first of all, the dude clearly has his history down.
Oh yeah,
And actually, huge asterisk there because, like,
is it real
I'm
history
going
or
to
is it
go
just
ahead and
history he was
say at
given?
least 70% of his statements about who was in charge of what and whose territory was under who, like, probably fabricated,
Oh,
honestly. I'm
100%.
no expert on, the history of that region, so I can't really opine there. Just like his recollection of certain conversations that happened off the record with U.S. presidents, I'm going to go ahead and say those are probably skewed heavily in his favor in the
Oh
interview.
yeah,
Objectively, though, he did come across as a much stronger representative than our representatives.
a little bit more competent for sure.
Definitely, but he still uses the same political, like, gaslighting techniques,
Yeah.
like saying, well, Bill Clinton said this to me in, like, a private, like, conversation. Tucker's like, was that ever recorded? Can someone, like, corroborate that? And he would just go, that's not my business to discuss, or
Yeah.
let's not like, dive too deep into that now. Like,
To
that's
be fair, the Clintons really do like to suicide people, so
agreed. But
I could understand why he might not
it's
want
the
to
exact
drop
same
dirt on
thing,
them.
like telling people that, like, when you see people wearing certain things in public, like, harass them, give them a hard time, and then whenever, like, you press them for, like, oh, do you have proof that these people did X, Y, and Z? Like, no, 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 don't worry about it. It's just the right thing to do. Like, go, like, that whole, like, I'm not going to get into it, or that's not my place to go into, details after you have already said something extremely inflammatory, revolutionary, or, questionable. It just completely absolves you from, like, your requirement to, provide a burden of proof or keep yourself accountable to the statement. I'm like, you do the same fucking shit that our people do. You just throw people in gulags and kill them openly.
Yeah, I will say though, if the statement would have been, Bill Clinton openly told me off the record, not recorded, that he likes to get his dick sucked by his assistant in the White House and fuck children on an island with his best friend, I would
Not
have been
have
like, okay,
sexual
I don't need
relations
proof
with
of
that
that.
woman.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll buy that for a
Yeah,
dollar. Like,
we know that essentially.
that's pretty solid fact. But at the same time, it's like the shit you're saying that he said that's like off the record, not recorded. Like, maybe, but at the same time, like, there's
And
no point of reference where you could be like, okay, yeah, that could be a solid thing.
I will say I am shocked Tucker's still alive and they let him
I
walk out of that place
I don't know how he is
because
alive.
he interrupted him and he pressed him on, like, subpar answers several times. He's like, when he's rattling on about the history, he stopped him like 3 or 4 times. He's like, I don't get how this is relevant, man. Like, let's use answer the question. I was like, this guy just kills people for, like, protesting. What are you doing?
Like, he just blew up his own fucking paramilitary leader's plane because
Yeah, he shot him out of the sky, dude. What are you fucking
and
doing?
his response was, "Oops, my bad, wrong plane." Like, what
Wrong
the
plane.
And, like, dude,
Which
so
one
like,
was the right one?
shout out to, Tuck for that. That was crazy.
Oh yeah,
That's
dude,
insane.
that took
The
some
end of
fucking
it too.
serious balls of steel.
And then, of course, everyone hates it because nobody could ever fucking do that. So
No,
everyone's gonna say, "Oh, he was, softball questions." I was like, you didn't fucking listen to the goddamn thing, especially
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. At the end, the last 15 minutes, he just presses this tyrant basically to let go of, like, a political prisoner. Just hammers him on it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let it go. I was like, you are out of your fucking mind.
yeah,
You're about to be in that guy's shoes if you're lucky.
Yeah, dude. Fucking hell.
dude, I also like the fact that he immediately, as soon as he put out like that interview was happening, Ukraine's like, hit list, like, you're on the hit list to get killed. Like,
Was that legit? Do we, like, confirm that
yeah,
that
I'm
posting of him, like, in that kill book was legit?
that it looked
Dang.
from what I understand, that was pretty solidly legit.
I'll dig that a little. I wouldn't be surprised,
Oh, I wouldn't
honestly.
either. Like, but I was just thinking, I'm like, how
I'm
did
shocked as soon as the
fuck
camera stopped, he didn't just
bang
drop
out
him right there, honestly, and drag him away.
fucking bang out the entire camera crew and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, he never showed up. Like, his plane landed, he got here, and then just disappeared in the sunset. Like that. Let's be honest, that's kind of what the KGB, the Russians, the Vladimir Putins, that's what they do. Is they're just like, they showed up, and then they disappeared as soon as they got off the plane. Like, must have been kidnapped. Real unfortunate situation.
It is a crazy world, though, to have, Tucker Carlson, the dude who loves his zins, the dude who's got the goofiest fucking laugh on the planet,
Oh,
the dude
yeah.
who went from far right propaganda, machine extremist to just this guy doing this crazy freelance where he brought on a guy who allegedly sucked Obama's dick, never got any proof of it, just put him out for all of Twitter to be like, this dude blew the first black president, and then provided no burden of proof, no nothing, just let him talk uninterrupted for however long it was. This is the guy who is sitting down face to face with Vladimir Putin. I was like, I cannot believe what timeline I'm living in right now. This is crazy.
I didn't even know that. That's fucking awesome.
You can go on his
fuck.
you can go on his Twitter X page, and yeah, the dude who sucked Obama's dick, right there.
That's fucking great.
And this guy clearly is just some white dude who smoked weed once and did some gay shit with a black dude and was like, it's definitely Obama.
It's like that's
Definitely
the
Obama.
president.
This is definitely the first black president, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some pretty solid conspiracy theories though that Michelle Obama is actually a dude.
She looks like a dude.
100%. There's
Yeah.
if you've ever looked into it, there's zero pictures of her ever being pregnant,
It's true.
and there's some pretty damning pictures that look like she definitely got a big dick. Like
She's
I
looking
don't,
like
I
a
don't
dude.
know. I don't know if it's like the way the sundress is blowing against her leg in the wind.
I mean,
But there's one picture she's
I
in
haven't looked
white
below the
sundress.
waist, but I'm just saying, shoulders up. She's built like a dude.
Oh no, there's one picture she's in a white sundress. I think she was getting off a helicopter, and the wind is blowing against, and it looks like just a giant fucking dick.
Got a tripod.
It's 100% tripod, just on her leg, and I'm like, well, she's fucking dressed, and Obama's 10 feet in front of her, so that's not his dick. I mean,
She
it
ruined
might
my
be his
school
dick, but
lunches.
it ain't the one attached to him.
That one's a good one. That's a fun one. It's a
Yeah,
nice
that is a fun
lighthearted one.
I always bring that up at work just as a funny joke, and there's
It's
a couple of people that take it way too serious.
dude.
I'm like, listen, we all know she's probably not a
The
dude, but
implications of that being true and the fallout from it, minimal.
yeah, oh
Nothing.
yeah.
It's not a big deal. So the fact that it just winds people up so much is so goddamn
And
funny.
here's the thing:
It's so goddamn
if
funny.
it comes out to be true, then it gets way more inclusive because we had the first gay black president that was married to a trans, and it's like we just got way more inclusive than just a straight black dude is the first black president.
He broke so many barriers.
Yeah,
You broke them
let
all.
that come out, and it's all of a sudden inclusivity just explodes. Shit gets a lot cooler really quick.
Inclusivity explodes, except between the black and white race relation that
Well,
only, worsened exponentially with his boy Al Sharpton.
Ooh, yeah.
The great Reverend Al, yeah.
Yes,
I
I say good
forgot
old
about him.
Rev Al.
When you get the chance, check out the suits and the watches the good old Reverend is wearing. Let's see how
Yeah.
much of that money's going
His
to
I
godly
haven't heard that name in a
services.
long, long
$10,000
time.
suit.
Yeah, he's kind of disappeared, hasn't he? Wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, his fucking $10,000 Armani suits and $100,000 Rolexes.
Holy
Yeah, I
fuck.
seen him one day. He was wearing a Patek Philippe, which their starting base watch is $60,000.
Those are reparations. He earned that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's for every church you ever look into that's a mega church.
Yeah.
They all earned that. They're private
That
jets.
shit drives me crazy. I got dragged to some mega church event
Oh, I could
years
never.
ago because my mom, great, God fearing Catholic woman, strict Catholic woman.
Good for her.
Somehow, well, actually, no, I know how. Their landscape company does work for this mega church, in the area
Okay.
where they work out of. And she heard they do this Christmas show every year. That's this huge fucking production, apparently.
Yep.
No, she got dragged in because she loves Christmas. She was completely mesmerized by this show. It was like Jesus was truly born that day at this mega church. It was all that. And so, of course, the following year, all of her side of the family, me and my brothers, all get dragged to this show. And let me tell you what, it was the funniest god. It was like a 2-hour show. There's an intermission.
There was an intermission.
What?
I was
What church?
just yucking it up with my two brothers in
Yeah.
front of the whole family, and my mom was not liking that because I was blaspheming all over this holy production that she held so highly. And I will tell you this: within 5 seconds, I was already tuned out. I was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
this place," because they have fucking these massive 4K projectors. There's like 4 of them. It's this
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
auditorium.
Oh yeah.
These 4 fucking projectors cost more. One of them costs more than half the shit in the Catholic church I grew up going to. I was like, these people aren't doing fucking shit except self-masturbating in this fucking auditorium. This is fucking crazy. The show opens up, and the way it's sectioned is the first act is all very secular Christmas. The second act is all very roughly whatever non-denominational interpretation of the birth of Jesus was, a little more religious-y. So the secular portion opens up. Santa's fucking flying across the auditorium in
No.
the air. There's pyro. Everything's going on. I was like, this place, I hate this place so much. This is
Holy
terrible.
fuck.
It's like a monument of our sin. And I'm ripping jokes like with my brothers. So act one's over. Mom's gives it the pep talk. Like,
Act one.
act one ends. We're at the Starbucks, in like the lobby.
Inside
like,
of the church?
Literally, there's a Starbucks there. Yeah.
No
And so we're in the
shit.
Starbucks in the lobby getting
That's
like
a
a drink.
first for me.
And my mom comes over, is like, guys, I get it. You don't want to be here. I need you to show a little more respect.
Absolutely
You got your
not.
cousins watching, like, and there's other people who are trying to enjoy this show. And I was like, got it, cool, it's fine. Second act opens. It's the manger scene. This fucking church somehow got like camels and like all the animals in Michigan in the winter to be on stage, like live fucking animals. Like everything was up there, right? I couldn't believe I was looking at like 2 live camels in Michigan in the winter. It was just blowing my mind. And anyways, there's this what was, what was supposed to be this beautiful, really heartwarming scene of this little girl who's probably part of the church singing this solo to this doll, which was supposed to be, the baby Jesus. And she's supposed to, kiss baby Jesus or whatever on the forehead. She tongue kisses the fuck out of the baby Jesus. And
Oh
it
my
is like
God.
on the fucking projector thing in 4K for everyone to see. Nobody is making a sound. I let out the loudest laugh and I could not reel it in for the next 30 minutes because my brother next to me was also losing it. Because we both looked at each other and went, she definitely just tongue kissed the fuck out of baby Jesus, right? He's like, yeah, you saw that. And then I got home and my mom was just screaming at me, and I was like, oh, fuck that place. I never picked back that fucking shitty church again.
Holy
And
shit.
every time I bring it up, you can tell she's still like, still like raises hairs on her neck.
That poor kid probably uses that same fucking doll to this day. She went to the doctor, like, where did that mean man touch you?
And I learned that.
And she's like, well, after I tongue kissed it, the mean man touched me here, behind the ear, and then here.
I did learn after that my parents and like my mom's family did go again and just didn't tell me they were coming. I was like, thank God.
Fucking
I'm
hell,
gonna go
dude.
just for the fun of it now.
What church was this?
We might have to make a group trip.
I'm
here.
gonna say Northridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, my dad was over in
Yeah,
Northridge today
yeah.
for a CrossFit competition.
Yep.
I can get down.
Did
with
you
that.
say CrossFit competition
Yeah.
at the church?
No, not at the church. Just over.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, just
by North-
that
yeah.
way. Okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say, hold on, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, here we go.
Oh no, not
CrossFit's a little different.
Yeah.
They usually give you a cross, make you drag it up a bunch of steps, a couple miles, and nail you to it. That's their idea of CrossFit competition in the church. I thought about that one for a minute. I was like, yeah, let it fly.
I feel like we get a solid group to go for Christmas to be like, all right, boys,
Oh, dude.
whoever laughs first
So
has to buy
I will
drinks
say,
after. Whoever
I
laughs
say-
first has to buy Starbucks at
I
the
say that
intermission.
with hesitation because there was a dude at the shoot night who was rocking AR-10 long
Yeah.
boy
Okay.
running like drill for the rifle.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shocked me. I was like, "Fuck is this guy doing with
Yeah.
that?" And it turns out that is the rifle that he uses for Overwatch while running security for his church. I was
Yeah.
told by several of the other members who are regulars at the shoot night. He's also on the airsoft team with all the guys. And I didn't bother to ask what church, but I was very interested, and I feel like that's very much a this church thing.
I could see that.
Not like the pastor or any of like the leader, the congregation facing leadership there, of course, but from the conversations my parents have had with the people in charge of like the operations, the landscape, and like the lighting things, like they do very much lean that way. So I wouldn't be surprised. So that's why I kind of hesitated to share the name of this place after just dumping on their annual fucking
Christmas party.
yeah, their greatest show of all time. Yeah.
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah, no.
I
Fuck.
want to know where this dude's nested up to have this
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what do you got?
18-inch 308 6.5.
This church is a campus. It is massive.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean, even
huge.
then, like that, you can definitely reach out and touch some shit with an 18-inch AR-10.
Oh, yeah?
And
Yeah, the
like
20 boy, yeah.
you can fucking put someone down with a quick 1 or 2 shots with that.
I mean,
Oh yeah, all multi-cam black too.
oh fucking
Of
hell.
course it was.
I'd hope this guy has done more shots farther than 100.
I
has to with that.
I'd hope. I hope.
he was able to
Yeah.
shot really well in a
Yeah,
really short
yeah,
range with a
yeah.
rifle that really wasn't built for it. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's familiar with it.
Cool.
He can
That's
shoot.
Mhm.
Maybe we can fucking indoctrinate him into our group and get him onto the
You're our
Depends on which
designated
church
Marksman.
then, I'm afraid.
We can get him
Not
on
like I'm
one
going
of
back
us.
there anytime soon. but-
Yeah, we can get him in on one of us and be like, listen, dude, you just got to leave the church and whatever the fuck culty shit they got going on, you got to let us know. Maybe get the little bit
Listen,
of funding.
I will gladly come back. I just need to change one thing about the Christmas show. Don't kiss baby Jesus, please.
Don't kiss-
Please remove the baby Jesus kiss.
Well, actually, realistically, I wonder if we can get that church, if that is the church that he works for, I wonder if they pay for that shit. Because
Probably.
we could get sponsored by the church,
Oh yeah,
tax free,
yeah.
get NFA items tax free, because it's a church thing.
Get courses tax free.
Yep, and paid for, sponsored by the church. I could get down on being security for a church that I don't give a shit about if they're going to pay for my gear, my tax stamps, and my guns
Dude, it's gonna
and
take
training.
some.
I'll mentally manipulate the fuck out of some
Yeah,
church people.
He's gonna take
Do it.
one look at us and go, "No, get the fuck out of here."
Let me get my hair back longer again, and I look like Jesus. I'll walk in. Look, my children,
My children.
my
And
children,
we
I'm
really
back.
care. We really care about the safety of your members, and we're all just in like multicam,
Multicam
and just ready to roll,
M81.
like, you guys are all just autistic.
Like, yes, I am autistic, but I just wanted to let you know I am back. I'm just letting you know that the church needs to fund my projects, and if you don't, well, then when
This is really gonna
when the
enhance the
rapture
quality of
comes,
your worship. Believe me.
when the rapture comes, you're not fucking making it if you
Step
don't fund this
outside.
shit
Listen
right now.
to the sound of a 16-inch AR-15, unsuppressed, very loud. That'll definitely interrupt the sermon. Now listen to the SOCOM on this. Wow, what a difference! This is why we all need several of these. This concludes my TED Talk.
We seriously need to go to a mega church and fucking pitch that as like, hey,
You guys need a security team. Let me tell you why.
I'm like, and look, we come with credentials. We ran CQB League. Like, we can clear houses.
We will shoot everyone who has committed premarital sex before they even come close to the doors, and your sermon will never be interrupted.
We will mow these motherfuckers down.
Oh yeah, I like this plan.
Yes.
This is how
What's
we
your
fund.
group name? Fag Fellowship.
This is how we get our Crye AVSs paid for.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get out.
We just roll up on the fucking church all in the blacked out Yukon. Just roll out.
I won't lie though, the vibe would be to wear, and obviously they don't do this because not the same religion. Priest collar and shirts. Everyone's got glasses on, just rocking small little duffel bags.
The MP5 in a fucking suitcase or dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
Doesn't do just exactly the same, just mopping on the campus.
that would be fucking sick.
Don't ask who they are because they won't give you an answer.
Hear me out. We have monks, but it's all black robes with huge hoods. That'd be so sick.
That would be
Fuck
fucking
yeah,
I was
savage.
watching The Witcher again. Don't know why I decided to do that to myself because it's very clear in the last season when the writing and just the creative imagery was turned over to the next Disney intern because
Oh
suddenly
yeah, yeah.
the story made no sense.
Fuck no.
Everyone is now fat, ugly, and incredibly racially diverse for no reason, and
Yep.
unexplainably so.
Yep.
I was like, oh, so now it doesn't matter. It all went to shit. And it sucks because that show was so good. But I say that, I was watching it and I said, you know what? I want a fucking cloak. I think when it's out, I'm gonna wear a cloak. I
I
think
can get
that's
down
sick.
with
You can
that.
have a full size rifle under
Oh
there if you
fuck
needed
yeah,
to, and then
dude.
just throw it off and then let it rip.
Dude, I could get down with that.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the chances of being locked out by security if I were to walk into work on that, like rocking that on like a Monday?
Just all arms inside, just walking straight through the gate.
Just fucking like pop my hand out, badge in, and just like continue to my desk, sit down, full fucking 13-9 just slung up on me.
Before you sit down, just sit in the chair.
They're like, what the fuck is that?
And a huge fucking whoosh. What the fuck is his deal?
I'm like, see what happens when I can't wear a fucking hat at work? Congratulations, you did this.
I storm off to somebody's just. Yeah, I'm rocking a cloak.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, dude.
I can get down with the cloak. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah,
I just made some knockoff quarter zips on.
think about it. It's basically just a poncho, but it's
Yeah.
open down the middle and a little longer.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I can make some work fucking
multicam cloaks,
Ooh.
guys.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I can get down with that.
That's the uniform.
I could definitely get down with that.
Yeah.
That's the team vibe.
This is literally that could not be more autistic. Just the Witcher cinematic universe, just in gun culture now. Like you are the most
Dude,
autistic.
fucking, I gotta write that down before we forget that.
Just get a fucking broadsword on the backside of the cloak, yeah. Multicam sheath.
Fuck it. I want the most useless camouflage pattern on my cloak just because it's the vibe. Put ACU on everything, baby.
Dude, the desert or the tiger stripe AC.
I was just gonna say that, dude. I
Yeah.
fucking love Tiger Stripe so much. That
Yeah.
is mine. That is the fucking
MW2 cam all day, baby. that's my
Dude, a
shit.
throwback, man.
It is.
Dude, there's one guy that sits like 4 desks down from me, and every single day he comes in like an M81 coat. And he's like, he always talks to me. He's like, I really want to get into guns. Like, I've never shot. That's the dude that was wearing the headband when I got told I had to take my head off, put my headband down. And I immediately got told to take my fucking headband off. I'm like he's allowed to wear a headband. He's like, well, it's a
He's not white. So
yeah. I'm like, in my team lead who's
we can't tell him not to.
my team lead who's 6'6" and bald, and he's like, well, it's a cultural thing. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean it's a cultural thing? He's like, I can't say anything to him.
He's not white, so by default and by HR's rules, it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
So I'm like, fuck it. But dude, every day he comes in like this fucking M81, like full, like I want to be like, dude, like you want to come shoot with me and the boys, but at the same time, I'm like, it might be a little too close to home.
I don't do that at work. Yeah.
Just in case he fucking decides to.
That's why, like, when I first started there, I was like, I'm never dating anybody. I can't do the whole date at work thing. I have so many people who are like married and or dating. People are like, you guys are fucking nuts because then it doesn't work.
Listen.
You have to walk past that person every day. That's fucking crazy.
My old team lead, she's like,
I don't like going to work enough. I don't need another thing not to love going to work. Like,
I need a little separation here.
Oh, dude, some of those people that are work, they're fucking just absolute unfaithful to society.
Dude, I heard. So first of all, we have a meditation room, which I feel like a lot of
what?
hip places.
Meditation rooms.
Yeah, like a lot of like new places.
Okay,
who
well,
really
yeah.
like
Now
to
that I think about it, that place
cater
is
to
fucking huge.
the hip new young crowd. You need a meditation room because meditation is a huge thing. That's just the hook up and bang room I've learned now.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea.
There's no cameras in there. It's pretty much soundproofed. I found that out.
Several people have been caught just hooking up and banging it out of a meditation room at work.
Holy
Like, that's
fuck.
Yeah, I fuck dude. So one of the people that's on my team, she's like probably 50, fucking still hot, just like an absolute smoke show. But she's got a fucking rock on her finger that's literally like, I mean, I don't even know what to, like the size of my watch bezel. Like
Holy
just a
shit.
monster rock.
Yeah.
And we did like a team outing. What was it? This last Monday to go bowling. So the division lead, who's now a VP, is like, I'm buying drinks, like everything's on me. She gets fucking hammered, and she's wearing like a crop top hoodie, as a shirt, all day long.
Yeah.
And all you see is the tramp stamp on the back, and she turns around. I'm like, hey, nice tattoo.
Move that just a little bit closer. Yeah, you're good.
I'm like, hey, nice tattoo you got back there. And she's like, oh, thanks. And then I see her on Snapchat. I'm like, you got Snapchat? She's like, oh yeah, add me. And I'm like, okay. She's like, but, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, she's gonna say some dumb shit, and she's like, but what happens on Snapchat stays on Snapchat, and you can't tell anyone about it. And I'm like, and everyone that's on my team, mind you, there's like 50 people in my division. They all look at me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm super cool with that. Like, I don't fucking care. I'm a savage. And then I'm like, actually, you know what? I'd love to see. It's like, I'll see what I can do. Everyone the next day is like, so, and I'm like, she told me what happens on Snapchat stays on Snapchat. I can't tell you.
You know your HR rep.
Never met him. Never fucking met him.
I don't believe that. For some reason,
swear to God, never met him. Actually, hold on. I'll pull up the picture because I still have it saved on Snapchat of a different team member that posted on.
Your guy, your floor is a little different than mine, I would say. You guys operate at a different fucking level.
Oh, dude. So when I don't have the picture unsaved. I was smart about it and didn't save it just in case. So went to grab
that was the smart part, yeah. Saving the snap.
Yeah. So went to get fucking lunch with the VP on Friday. So we did like a little raffle. I won some lottery tickets. I'm like, hey, you're going to the gas station. Can you cash them for me? He's like, no, but you can come with me. I'm like, all right, cool. Do I need to clock out for lunch? No. Gone for like 2.5 hours. Dude, he was telling me some wild shit. He's like, oh, like I made a joke about my ex and like the whole situation, and like his face immediately dropped. He's like, "No fucking way! I never thought I'd be able to tell someone the stories about my wife and I with her friends." He's like, "I finally have someone to fucking bond with and tell my stories." Like, we're having a her
So many HIPAA violations
her
happening.
oh
right
yeah,
now.
100. Her son is on my team.
Be a lot of blank space in this episode.
Her son's on my team, and
That's
I'm
fucked.
like, he's my fucking teammate. I can't look at him the same now. I'm like, I just want to.
Image ruined.
I'm like, dude, I just want to tell this kid. I'm like, hey, Josh, you should just.
Jesus. That's
Oh yeah,
insane.
dude, just tell me some wild stories
Now
about
go
somebody
dial
who's
for
been there with
smiles.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like.
So what
"Yeah,
you're
you
saying
go
is,
for it."
if I just walk into your work one day
Oh,
and just start flirting with fucking literally
any
anyone,
woman that works there, you could listen. It's just like instant 100%.
what the fuck?
Like, and I've actively tried not to do that because I'm like, I'm a good person.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you where I'm least sexually active or interested in having an erection. It's at work.
100%. Everyone's like, well, why don't you just? They're like, she's hot. Why don't you just go for it? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, nothing I would ever do at work.
The
It would
last thing
not
on my
happen.
mind is doing is banging any of you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to
Holy
fucking.
fuck.
I don't want to deal with you people at work. You think I want to fucking deal with you taking you home? No. I'm like, not worth my trouble. Not worth the
That's
hassle.
insane.
Like, hard to pass. And they're like, oh, everyone here fucks. And I'm like, not everyone, because I'm not fucking anyone
Yeah,
here.
that's cool.
I'll pass.
I'm just gonna yell at an Excel spreadsheet, I think, for most of the day, and
Yeah,
go home
I yell
after
at my
feeling
fucking
like I
phone.
contributed nothing.
Dude, I fucking yell at my phone because no one picks up the goddamn phones, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
how about you guys just fuck off? I had one day a guy answered the phone, and like I didn't realize my headset mic was down, and I was talking to the guy sitting next to me, and I was saying some shit, and like I all of a sudden heard the ringtone stop, and
Uh-oh.
like quiet, and then he's like, wait, hold on, finish your conversation. I want to hear. He's like, that shit sounded really interesting. I want to know what's going on. I'm like, click. I just hung up on him. I'm like, oh,
You don't get that. You weren't supposed to hear that.
yeah. I'm like, oh, thank God that was on the dialer because we're on an auto dialer now. Nothing gets recorded on that. I would have been fucked. Yeah.
I've said some shit over the phone. I probably shouldn't have.
Oh, yeah.
After I've let it go, I'm like, ooh,
Dude.
they could definitely pull any of these if they wanted to. But oh well.
There's trickery around getting that recording deleted. I come to find out.
I'm sure, but everything, the
Yeah.
act of deleting it is recorded. Like in
Yeah.
a financial institution, it's all on record, which is nuts.
Yeah, there's one guy that like the first week I got moved down to the new position, he I guess he was like super aggressive on the phones, which I get. We're in sales, like that's what you do
Mhm.
to convince these people to do the thing. But I guess like he got into an argument with this guy on the phone, like freaked out on him, like fuck you, this, that, and the other. The dude hung up on him. He called the guy back to continue yelling at him.
Hey,
And
chicken fucker, listen up.
pretty much. And then the DL come over and put his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "We need to have a conversation on my desk. Like, what the fuck?" And
You can't call them back and revenge call this.
dude, no, listen, it gets worse. He fucking it was like he's like I work 8 to 5, so it was like 5:02. He's getting yelled at by the DL, and he cuts him off. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna stop you there. It's 5:02. I'm supposed to be off work at 5."
I do fuck with that. I
Yeah.
do fuck with that.
I'm like, well, he's like, listen,
Unless you're gonna pay me overtime to yell at me, I'm not gonna sit through.
but
this.
he came in late that day, so he wasn't supposed to be off till
no.
5:30.
Fuck.
But he fucking cut him off. He's like, so I'm supposed to be off at 5. Like I'm leaving, and he's like, no, you're not. Like we're finishing this conversation. You can't freak out on while we're like on just can't do it. Like I understand frustration, but like can't. He literally gets up mid conversation and just walks out of the building.
I respect it.
What a guy.
I do. I respect it.
Fuck yeah.
Came back the next day.
Yeah, you didn't fire me. I'm coming
That
back
was
to work.
that was the conversation they were trying to have, was firing him though.
You didn't get it off.
He came
Should
back.
have been quicker than that.
Came back in the next day and fucking it was like a Wednesday, so definitely not a casual day at work.
Yep.
He came in sweats, Jordans, and a fucking t-shirt and a hoodie.
That's a sales meeting day. You can't do that.
No, 100% not. And he did not give a fuck. Came in sweats, hoodie, Jordans, fucking t-shirt. They let him work all the way until lunch. He went to get lunch. He came back. His desk was cleared.
Yeah, see ya.
And they gave him the old
Squatters' rights no longer apply. You left the premises. You're out.
dude, yeah. And he was just sitting in the in the little kitchen area, in front, we're on the backside, and he
Yeah.
came back. He's like, "Where the fuck's all my shit?" Like he had plants. Fucking, they cleared out his little cubby, and they gave him the old TMS hand on the shoulder. Walked him out the building. Then we all got a note like, "Hey, we're having a team meeting right now about what's going on. Like, you seen what happened? Like, don't freak out on those people on the phone."
I'll never forget when I was at my old job. Before I was leading the team, I was still pretty new. But our team of what was 6 people had the same turnover rate as like the sales team, which was fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
When you know how sales turns over. And we were running super short staffed as it was, but was a 6-person team is now a 4-person team. It was me,
fuck.
someone who just started that week, and 2 vets who've been there for a while. And middle of the day after lunch, the leader just blows up on the 2 vets because they were just bullshitters. I think they
Yeah.
just didn't like the leader at the time. She's just tearing into them on the floor. It's not going well. And then shortly after, they both just packed their things and left
Damn.
and quit, like right there on the spot. So
Damn.
now it's me and this new girl who just started that day. So the leader's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the kitchen. We're gonna talk real quick," and they're like, "So and so and so and so is no longer with the company." And I watched the look on the new girl's face. She's like, "What the fuck did I just walk into?" I couldn't help but laugh. I just started laughing, and everyone was like, "This is fucking ridiculous."
This is great. This is
Yeah,
gonna be
Welcome
so
to the
good.
shit
so
show.
fucked.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Corporate America, man, it does suck.
dude, and it's like it doesn't help that we've got like the 2 biggest companies in the industry here, and they like it as
All right, I'm going to talk about one. I really probably shouldn't, but the biggest, or the what used to be the
used to
biggest
be the
one, my
biggest.
old employer laid off hundreds of people, offered buyouts to hundreds of people after the pandemic, after they were no longer number one lender, after they were hurting.
Oh
All these
yeah,
people got let go. They restructured. They're still struggling with culture, and because they really mishandled the whole COVID thing and how they were sort of navigating that and communicating to their team members on the future of work and all that. And they just pissed off a lot of
everyone.
vets, a lot of new people. Everyone was leaving. Lost a ton of people, by force or not. They have their first all company meeting for 2 years or so because COVID's still very scary. This week, they had Snoop Dogg perform at the all company meeting.
I got a video of it.
The optics of that alone are fucking mind blowing. How did nobody consider, hey guys, we just let go probably close to 1,000+ people, like at least a couple hundred. Maybe giving Snoop Dogg a fuck ton of money to perform. Oh, in like the big the new pro sports venue of this state, they filled it with all their employees, so rented that out for the whole day.
Oh yeah,
Got that set up, decorated, paid for Snoop Dogg, got everything going. Like, hey, you know what? The optics, it looks great. Run it. And the first thing I thought was like, I would be so fucking pissed if I'm on LinkedIn trying to find a job, trying to make ends meet, and I find out the place that just fired me was able to pay for Snoop Dogg because they canned me. I would lose it.
Oh, and on top of that,
Riots.
I know this because my cousin's a VP there. He's the SVP. All the VPs got fat ass bonuses this year. Like
Of course they did. No,
at beginning of
the
January.
VPs did not get paid, and
Oh,
that's what I found out very quickly when I was there. Because when I got promoted to the
yeah,
leader of the team, my pay scale was lower than someone who was reporting to me.
yeah,
I was like, make this make sense.
not at
Like,
all.
whoa, they jerked me around for like a couple months. I was like, fuck it, and I just went to the
Yeah,
competition.
and they got a fat ass like I think $150,000 a year raise too. So
I got a Shinola one year. I guess that was kind of cool. That was about it.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, the battery died like a year later. Like they're not great watches, it turns out.
no, they're really not, which kind of
They're just
sucks.
there's fossils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
they're
not made
rebranded.
in Detroit. They're assembled in Detroit.
I was gonna say they're rebranded
They're all
fossils.
Chinese. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just fossil watches assembled in Detroit where you pay $300 more than a fossil for.
yeah, true. That's
And
why I fucking
you,
stuck with the old Citizen.
yeah, I went. Let's go Seiko. I don't
Yeah.
feel bad about beating it up.
Fucking, I got this on the cruise, and I was like, okay, it was like 30% off. Didn't have to pay tax because it's duty free. I'm like, all right, there
Fuck
we go.
yeah.
So it
Fuck
ended up being like a
taxes.
six
Yeah,
hundred
fuck
dollar watch for
taxes.
like I think I paid like 320 off the
Hell yeah.
boat, and I was like, fucking sold. And then like the
Hell
last
yeah.
day, they're like, oh, we're running a mega sale, and it's 40% off. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But they had a
Now
green
I
face one that I wanted, and I was like, no, I'm gonna save up and I'm gonna buy an
Yeah.
actual Rolex, get the green faced like Hulk Rolex. But that's the next move after I get
I
knots.
bang my watches on so much shit that I was
That
like,
this will be the beater watch, and then once I get the Rolex, that'll be like
yes, I'm gonna beat the
when I
shit
want
out
to
of
be a
this. I
fucking
already slammed the doorways and CQB last night with it. And I was like,
yeah.
well, It's all broken in. This is like 2 days old
It's
at
all
this point.
broken.
Yeah.
I slammed that Shinola on fucking tables,
Oh, and
desks,
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
That'll like the Rolex will be when I want to come to work and just be like a fucking piece of shit because
When you're ready to cheat on someone's wife.
Fucking hell, dude.
when I come in,
Oh,
when I come in, I'm just like, all right, I'm like one day
I know even the cat markets guys too. They live very close to all those guys too.
yeah, like they all live right next to me, and I'm like,
Actually,
that sucks.
one of those neighborhoods was a part of the raids that the immigrants and the gangs were running.
Yeah.
One house was like stealing safes, blowing them up in the woods and stuff.
Yeah, my dad
Yeah.
was like, he's like,
That's
I hope, he's
insane.
like, I fucking hope they come to our house, and I was
It's
literally like,
coordinated as shit. Like they see you go,
Yeah.
they're in out. They haul ass to the woods with like whatever they can grab in like a safe. Pop
Yeah.
the safe, leave it, and just get out. That's very well done.
dude, I was so hoping that they'd break into my house. I was like, I'm like, all right, I got the LPVO sighted in. I'm like, I'm at the top of the stairs. I got perfect line of sight if they come through the front door. Fucking just pop them right because they have to go right past my staircase, and it like curves out and then up. So I'm like, I got a fucking perfect line of sight to just bang them in the head. And I'm like, if they come through garageway or the back door, I got a perfect line of sight to both of those as well because it's just like a balcony. I'm
I'm
like,
get back behind my
Dude,
LPBO.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Pull out
Yeah.
my 16er again.
I put it on a fucking six.
I still have to
6.5
zero
anymore.
mine in. I got that blemished upper, and I
Oh, yeah.
I haven't shot it yet.
I haven't
Unfortunately.
looked down. I have the Strike Eagle 1-8. I haven't looked down that yet. It's still in
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah.
They're nice. They're
But I
nice.
had
Yeah.
that Sig 1-6. It's my favorite still. I
Yeah.
think I love the reticle on that thing.
Yeah.
The eye relief's great, and
Yeah.
like I think Sig gets a bad rap, but I like that optic a lot.
Yeah. Sig puts out a lot of like questionable shit, but
Yeah.
like their optics, they do like from what I've experienced at least, they do pretty solid.
I have like a Romeo 5, I think, on the Vector.
That the
that-
T2 footprint one.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then the LPVO on the 16-inch, and they're great.
Yeah.
No complaints. My dad had a Romeo though on. I think he originally had it on his Dana Defense M4. That died very quickly. Replaced the battery, never came back to life. Don't know what happened to that.
Hmm.
But that one failed.
Interesting.
Don't know if it was like the AAA one or what was the other, the flat battery?
The
I'm
CR123?
blanking. Yeah. No, that's
no.
the ones that look like quarters. You get it.
The 1350 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which battery setup it was, but that one never came back to life. But otherwise, very good experiences with them.
Yeah.
Never shot their pistols though.
I had a 365 that I gave to my dad. I'm like, you can have
Lose some
this.
fingers pops. Here you go.
Yeah. I'm like, you can have this.
My
you can-
favorite things like Collier Noir was on Joe Rogan.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Great episode.
Dude, that was awesome.
Wow. Does Sig pay them or something? Because they were really going to bat for Sig for like a whole segment there. It was
Yeah.
like I think some fabric got caught like in that video where like the cop was holstering it and it went
Yeah.
off like in the holster. He hit like the cop hit the holster and it went off. He's like, yeah, I looked at the video like I think there's like some fabric in the holster and like I was like, no, I'm pretty sure his shirt was tucked in. Like, why
Yeah.
are we going so far to like defend this gun when like it's clearly just blowing up?
It's because Joe Rogan sponsored like Mike Glover, all the GBRS guys. They've all got partnerships with Sig. So does Joe Rogan.
Shocked. I
So
was like,
that's
dude,
why
Must
like
be nice.
it's like
Eh.
every week I open up a new picture with like one frame just in half. It's like it's
Yeah.
clearly a problem.
Which sucks because I want to fucking, I think,
It's government contract.
Dude,
stuff.
they're
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why,
God,
yeah.
yeah.
their triggers are so shit though. In my P365, it was fucking horrible.
I'll give you my dagger. It's a pretty shitty trigger.
I got like
it's really bad actually.
yeah, and I got it before they did the FCU, so it was
Yeah.
like the first batch of the P365s. It was my 21st birthday. My dad's like, "I'll make you a deal." We were sitting at Cabela's, and I was like, "All right, what's the deal?" He's like, "I'll buy you a pistol right now." I'm like, "Fucking sold."
Thanks.
I'm like, "Sold." He's like, "But it's got to be less than $300." I was like, "Fuck." So he's like,
Fuck.
"I'll buy you a Ruger LCP, the LCP9 or whatever." I'm like, "All right." So we start going over there, looking, getting ready to fill out paperwork. I'm like, "Actually, how about this? You put $300 in, I'll cover the rest of whatever else I want." Me being 21,
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm gonna get a Glock," and the dude's like, "Oh no, check out the new Sig offering.
Yeah.
It's great." And I was like, "All right, fuck it." I heard a couple of good things at that point about him. Fucking dog shit trigger.
Yeah.
Gave it to my dad. I'm like, "Here, I'll give you this if you want it." And he's like, "All right." He gave me like,
Damn, your dad really tried to funnel you into getting a high point, didn't he?
yeah. Listen, he still fucking carries his little pocket carry LCP9.
Oh, yeah.
It irritates the shit out of me. I'm like, you've got like real like he's got a Sig Spear.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of really nice Glocks. He's got the Sig 226. Like he's got the Taver, the
Oh
Tavor,
yeah.
however the fuck you pronounce it. I said that to Dutch. I'm like the Taver, and he looks at me. He's like the what? And I'm like the fucking the Taver X95. He's like he just fucking started cracking up laughing. He's like I'm calling it that from now on. I'm like I know it's probably Tavor, but it sounds
Do I
fucking
look
better as
ethnic
Taver.
to you?
Yeah, I'm like I'm white, dude. Like you're getting Taver. That's it.
I'm gonna hard R it, dude. You
Yeah.
can deal with it.
But dude, he's got like some really nice guns. He's got fucking a shit ton of ammo stocked. And I'm like just buy a fucking
Yeah.
quality fucking carry pistol. So I'm like, I'll give you the 365 to carry. We go to fucking Target Sports naturally, and
Naturally.
they're like, we got
Love
leather.
that
They're like, we
place.
got leather holsters for it. I'm like, do not buy a.
State of the art.
I'm like, do not buy a fucking leather holster.
They're about as old as the paint on the walls here.
Yeah, and the dude's like, oh, like modern technology, and I'm like, listen, they start to wear, and then they
Modern
get soft.
technology. We're talking about leather, my brother.
Yeah.
Christ.
I'm like, they get soft, and then they get in the trigger guard. And the dude's like, oh, that's not how leather works, and I'm like, yeah, it is. What? And he's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm
This
speaking
dude's
to
like
a
40.
caveman.
Leather
You just referred to leather as
belts.
modern technology.
Yeah. I'm like, this dude's like 40, and my dad's like, yeah, no, this dude probably
Have
knows
they
what he's
shown
talking
you how
about.
light switches work yet?
Yeah.
Did that blow your mind?
Oh my god. And then my dad bought a fucking leather holster. I'm like, Jesus
Ah,
fucking Christ.
yeah, he's
He-
a salesman.
Yeah, he carried it for like 2 weeks, and he's like, this is uncomfortable as shit. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, 'cause you got a terrible fucking holster. So now it sits in a safe, and he's back to the LCP, and I'm like,
Classic.
if you buy a fucking quality holster, it won't fucking suck. I'm like, but don't listen to me at the time I was 21. I'm like, about getting a quality fucking holster. And then I bought my Glock 19, and
I am talking
every
shit,
single
and
day
I can
since.
say this because I've admitted openly in several Instagram posts. I own two Olights. Shamefully, I
Eh,
bought them before I knew they were shit. Though
then see, that's
only
okay.
one of them is a real threat of light burning down my entire apartment. I will say. The short
Yeah.
one,
Oh my god.
no problem. The long one, if it's lit for more than 10 seconds, it gets real warm.
I was gonna say
It
you
gets
said it.
hot.
You said it was getting pretty toasty at the CQB league.
I didn't run it, but when I was swapping out the lights and just playing around, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna throw these away. Like, I'm going to switch them out. It's on the to-do list to switch them out now that I know they are incendiary devices, essentially.
Oh my god.
But the long boy one, that boy cooks. I was like, whenever I put it away in the safe, I unplug it. Like, you know what? Streamlight. I'm just gonna buy a $100 Streamlight or two of them, just replace those Olights and just maybe I'll just carry them around or something if I wanted to keep in the Jeep or whatever. But
Just full send and go with Cloud. Like
I know,
so
but
here's
like that AR9 that just sits next to the bed, real quiet, hush gun. I'm not actually running that like seriously in the truck, so like
yeah,
I'm not worried about that thing really getting beat up or like ran really hard or pushed really hard.
fair enough.
But no, that the Olights do have to go.
Yeah,
It's just I don't shoot those guns enough.
yeah, fuck that. I got that moonshine one that's on mine though. I found it on a just random website for 275.
Damn.
So pretty substantial discount. It's the Rain
Yeah.
3.0. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean they're like $400 fucking lights, and the moonshine was what 350. So it's still almost $100 off that.
Yeah.
I was telling my grandma about it. It was like the week before Christmas. She's like, "Well, don't buy it yet." I'm like, "Well, listen, they're gonna go out of stock. Like I didn't know they still haven't been in stock to this day. And that's fuck 3 months ago. Like don't buy it." She ended up ordering it for me, so I didn't have to pay anything. But they had another like 10% off discount code, so it ended up being like what is that 255 shipped? Which I mean,
Fuck.
for a 1200 lumen,
Yeah.
100,000 candela light, that's pretty substantial. I mean, like a pretty substantial discount. So if that is, I know it's a little bit more expensive than the Streamlight, but
I mean, it's only $100. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
If you decide you want a cloud, I'll send you the fucking link.
please do.
Because
For at that, if I can scoop it at that price point,
Yeah.
actually, but I'll take the Streamlight that I have on the 16 because that's actually a more serious gun.
Yeah.
Put that on, something else.
I swear by my Streamlight TLR 1 HL though on my pistol. That is
I have that on my full size. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
the 7A
Yeah.
on the
fucking
dagger. Yeah.
I had the 8, the TLR 8 on the
I have it on
19.
my 26. Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with the TLR 1. Got rid of the TLR 8 because it was just the 8 with the little fucking
Yep.
tap ins, not the
Yep.
the thumb one. I'm like, I'll get a 7 to replace it, and then I never did. So now I just carry with a full size fucking light on a 19,
Shit.
and I have
It's
for
really nice for recoil though.
oh yeah,
Extra weight. Yeah.
but I have now for like a year and a half. I'm like, there's no fucking point in going back
Yeah,
to
no.
a compact light when I'm used to it, and
Hell yeah.
it doesn't. I mean, I've got it down to a point where it doesn't dig into me. So
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. I've got double the capacity on light, and it's well at that time it had the most Candela. Now, obviously, the Surefire X300 has, you know,
Turbo, yeah.
fucking 1,000 lumens or 800 lumens and, you know, 100,000 Candela on a pistol light, which is fucking insane.
Obnoxious, dude.
I mean,
That
it's
is
literally like a light.
walking flashbang.
Yeah.
That's a flare with 9mm capabilities. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's gonna suck to fucking get shot with, but at the same time, like, you're not gonna see it coming. Like, your eyes are gonna be cooked before you see that
You're
shit
gonna
coming.
see God
Your
before-
retinas are
Yeah.
gonna be burned.
You know, it's not even you walk into the light. The light's gonna walk.
Your
into you.
eyes are gonna hurt more than the bullet holes
Yeah.
in you.
Well, I mean, I think we should probably land the plane here. It's been 2 hours and
Oh shit.
16 or 15 here, boys.
Yeah.
Well,
Fuck.
Damn, I didn't even realize that.
I know time flies.
Yeah, it
It
does.
always was.
Went through a lot of stuff too. Now we got to worry about the homeless people.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Needles downtown tonight.
Fuck. Yeah. That's gonna be Listen, I'll smoke an old homeless person if they try to poke me. I don't give a shit.
No, I mean,
Just collect your brass and walk away.
if I see any needles printing on them, I'm look out.
Cop shows up like, listen, seen a lady fucking stab someone with a needle one time, not fucking with homeless people, had to vibe check her. Had
It's
to
a
be that way.
vibe check.
Yeah.
Had to be that way, I'm sorry. Like, but we carry the same ammo, so ballistically speaking, you know that shit works.
That takes the poison round to a whole new meaning.
Oh my god, can you imagine shooting through the needle and it going into him though?
That would be the worst thing that's been in them.
Like, well, it's a hepatitis bullet. Congratulations.
You already had it. You
It's
can't.
true, though.
You can't double. It might heal them actually.
It could.
It
like-
might get them right.
It's like when you get bit by a snake, they use snake poison in the
yeah.
the antidote.
Right. Thank you for joining.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for coming again,
Oh, yeah.
sir. And until next time, we're running back soon.
Fucking A.
Beauty.